since I fell in love. But after last time, don't wanna mess things up. You're so beautiful, and I can't deny. My heart is always with you, my head's always stuck in time. Love, let me go, 'cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong. Now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape, can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, 'cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, 'cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on. I don't wanna feel the same, so love, just let me go. Guess I didn't know it would end this way. One drink too much and I could see your face. Why did I let you go? How could I let you leave? Will I ever see you? And do you think of me? Love, let me go, 'cause I've been holding up for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong. Now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape, can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, 'cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, 'cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on. I don't wanna feel the same, so love, just let possibilities meant for me. Let's dive in, create a problem just to fix it. The perfect fit, we're back to time, catching up on all the things we missed, so our interest. The people who stand out, the faceless crowd, lost and found, picking up on the speed of sound to faster ground, moving on. I can't hold back all the new progress, what I've done best, but how about now, showing off all the things you missed, all your interests. I've been up for 3 nights, my eyes are bloodshot red. Damn, I wanna see the sunshine, it's getting to my head. One look in the mirror, don't like what I find. I know that somewhere in there there's a good guy, but he runs away at midnight. I'm sorry that I stole your car.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Legion Masters Apex Tournament for the South American region. We have qualifiers today and tomorrow. I am Stella Chung, otherwise known as Parallaxstella, and I will be your host and caster for today. So let's take a quick look at what we're going to be dealing with today. We do have the first day of qualifiers for the South American regions today, but also, I want to shout out real quick for Lenovo. This tournament is brought to you by Lenovo Legion, which offers gaming PCs, monitors, and accessories that are stylish on the outside and savage on the inside. And speaking of savage, I believe our teams today will be pretty savage. We do have some people coming back from the previous South American tournament that I did cast last month or so. We have a lineup. We do have some teams still checking in, so we are getting everyone set up currently. But we have SST coming back. I believe we did see the team Brotherhood also play last time, so we are going to be seeing some reoccurring teams. So we are going to toss really quickly to the whole tournament format, so you guys can take a look at the rules. Now, for the point system, of course, you know that there is a 5 kill multiplier for all eliminations. So, again, like I always reiterate, kills matter quite a bit. But of course, for placement, you do get extra points. If you place 11th to 20th, you will get 0 extra points. 8 to 10, you'll get 1 extra placement point. And the places that you start noticing the biggest jump is 5th place, where you get 10 extra points, 4th, 15, 3rd, 20, 2nd, 30, and in 1st place, you get 50 extra points. So while you do want to be getting your kills, you also do want to be getting your placements here. You want to be playing for placement, you want to get early kills, and you want to wait out and play the circle. Now, if we remember correctly from the last South American tournament that we did watch, South America plays pretty aggressive, which is amazing. They play a lot like the EMEA region, where they're not afraid to get into fights. So I'm expecting a lot of early game fights, because we did see a lot of that before second circle even closed. Now, with Storm Point, we are going to be seeing a lot of teams funneling in to certain specific choke points as well. Storm Point is the latest map that's been released, in case you are not familiar with this. It is also the biggest map. It's bigger than World's Edge by, I believe, 15%. So that's going to be something that we're going to be looking for. We don't know how rotations are going to work, because this is my first time watching South American players play on Storm Point, so that's going to be very interesting. And we have 3 matches on Storm Point. So today on the South American region qualifiers, we are going to be seeing 4 qualifying teams, and they're going to be coming back tomorrow. So just going through a few qualifier rules. Each qualifier consists of 5 matches, as you see, 2 on World's Edge for today, 3 on Storm Point. Tomorrow it'll be 3 on World's Edge and 2 on Storm Point. So after the round is concluded, we are going to try to get into matches as quickly as possible. Again, we are waiting for teams to check in. I am going to wait for my producer to tell me when they are ready, but it is all right. We might be missing 2 teams today, but that is all right. We are going to see lots of fights. Again, early game, because like I said, South America is incredibly aggressive, and I love seeing aggressive plays. So in case of a tiebreaker today, we are going to see the amount of overall kills, highest kills in a single round, best points in a single round, highest rank in a single round, or best placement in the last round. But that's in case we have some qualifier issues with placing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place, of course. So I'm very excited to see this. I honestly love casting South America, because unlike North America, which I love North American tournaments because I'm also in California, I really like seeing the aggressiveness. I love seeing the pushes that South American players can pull out. They have very good plays. Also, they're not afraid to use crypto, which I really wish NA players would use more of. And Crypto's latest heirloom was just dropped. I want to know in chat how many people have his heirloom, because it is, in my opinion, the best heirloom in the game. Wraith's kunai is pretty cool, but honestly, that knife is really, really cool, that sword. So we are currently waiting for players to load in, but I'm very excited to lead you into World's Edge for game number 1. And you can still sign up for tournaments. I believe we might have a few spots left for tomorrow, but again, players who qualified today are going to be able to get priority queuing into tomorrow's games. So you have the qualifier 1. We're going to go through 5 games again. And tomorrow we're going to be starting at around the same time. We are going to be starting at around 10 a.m. PT, which translates differently in your time zones, which is going to be about 1 p.m. ET. And you can see the times in your relative time zones here, especially for BRT and CEST. And for finals, we're actually going to be coming back next Sunday, an hour later than we are doing this weekend, which honestly, it's going to be pretty fun, because we're going to be playing 6 games for the finals as opposed to just the 5. So that is what we are going to be doing. We are waiting for everyone to get into the matches, and I believe that we're actually going to be able to jump into the lobby now. So we're going to be looking at where everyone drops in the map first off. Starting off as everyone drops off, you want to see which teams have placed their bets as their original starting points, because as you know, in competitive play, most teams have specified where they're going to be landing, and that is their zone. So if we see some early contest there, I think that's going to lead into our early game fights, which honestly, last time that we saw South America fight, we did see a lot of contention in early drops. So incredibly interested to see how that goes, and their rotations are pretty quick as well. And again, I'm expecting to see a lot of Crypto, Gibraltar, and maybe even Wraith players. I do notice that South American players like to pull out different team compositions from NA and EMEA, which is really interesting. Regional play styles like that are really cool to see because you get a little bit of variety. And South America is not afraid to shake up their team composition, which is really important for being able to adapt to different players' play styles. So with game number 1, we're going to be seeing a lot of teams warm up, see how each other plays, see where they're going to drop. Usually in competitive play, you are able to mark on the maps where you're going to be dropping and you get to claim that as your own. But I don't know if our players have been able to do that, so we may see a lot of fighting in the beginning. All right, so you can take a look at the teams that are on the screen here. These are the teams that are going to be playing in game number 1. Now, again, I want to point out that we did see BRZ. Brotherhood, and there was one other team that we saw previously coming back, which is going to be, I think SST, I believe. Yeah. So we're going to be seeing some teams come back from last time. And yeah, this is going to be very interesting. So we are playing on World's Edge for game number 1, and we do see everyone kind of spreading out here. This is game number 1 for South America's region for the Legion Masters tournament. All right, now we do see everyone's landing zones here. A lot of people choosing to stay in Skyhook, which honestly has probably some of the better loot, but also the new zone up in the north direction. So we do see a lot of good fanning out here of the teams, which honestly it seems like teams don't want to take early fights, but we may see Just Better's team and Taz's team clash heads here because there are a lot of teams in the northern portion that may actually run into each other during loot rotations. Now again, I want to reiterate with the rules, we are going to be doing 5 times 5 multiplier on kills, and we do see Pepe already in a fight here. It looks like they are missing a team member as well, so I think they're going to try to disengage from this fight because they don't have enough loot. Bet only has a P2020 with 40 shots extra, so I think he's going to be leaving. He does not have his dome. He's unable to defend himself here, and he does go down. Unfortunate for Pepe, Lord is going to be the only one available on his team. I don't know if he's going to be able to clutch this out, and they do get eliminated quickly by Panic. Now this is Brotherhood. Brotherhood was one of the stronger teams that we did see from South America last time in Lenovo's tournament. They are an incredibly well-paced team. They know how to work with each other. They're very good at communication, and we have seen them take fights very quickly and very aggressively too. And most often than not, they've been incredibly positive on points because of their aggression. It looks like Brotherhood has gone off to a good start. They already have 2 kills under the belt, so that is 2 kills added to their points. And they're going to be able to take this loot for free. Yeah, and let me remind you that Circle 1, they just landed, so we are already seeing early game fights. Now it looks like VLF has chosen Fragment as their drop zone, which again, pretty decent loot. In NA, you usually see a lot of early game fights here, or at least some contention, because this is a good point of where TSM usually likes to drop. But we are seeing VLF quickly take over Fragment East and West, and they are quickly looking for fights here. Now, I want to point out their composition. They do have kind of the the beginning launch Apex loadout. They have Wraith, Bloodhound, and Jibby, which is going to be incredibly important. You do want that shield. If you don't have a Gibraltar, you're kind of losing out on fights in competitive especially. I have noticed that with South America, they definitely like having Wraith for quick escapes and for movement, but honestly, with the quickness that South America plays, the aggressiveness, they don't often necessarily need to have an Octane or Ash or anyone else that can provide them quicker rotations. Now we do see round 1 closing, and there are already 16 squads left. I want to point out that I think we started with 18 squads. So again, that's 2 squads that have been eliminated at this moment. We do see VLF making quick work of this rotation. Now, you don't want to be caught in this rotation over into Harvester. This is one of the worst choke points that I have seen in World's Edge, and you do not want to be caught out here. Looks like Sem Org has actually made their rotation in, and they are in the next circle as well. They're in, excuse me, they are in circle 3 as well. They have well established themselves here in this choke point, and they are looking to hold out teams. Now, what's really important in competitive Apex is you want to make these rotations quickly so you can hold out other teams that are slow on rotates. And they're actually coexisting in the same space as Horus. So that we may actually see a fight here between the two to hold this point because they want to keep this point. They know that the next rotation is going to come through here. They know where the next circle is, and they want to hold this and hold other teams out as long as possible. But it looks like they are going to be holding out on 2 different areas of the zone, which is actually quite interesting if you look at it, because they are holding out the 2 different points of rotations that the other 16 teams are going to need to rotate in. Okay, we do see teams slowly closing in here. Look at this gorgeous observer feed. Can we get some hype in chat for our producers here who are working their butts off for us today? Now we're going to go back to Brotherhood. Again, one of the most aggressive teams I told you about from previous, and they are already in another fight. I really hope I don't give them Caster's Curse. They are going to be going against Vamo Time, and they are going to be carefully moving backwards. Look at how aggressive they are playing, though. I want to point out how they're not afraid to take fights, but they're also not afraid to back out. One of the biggest points of Apex Competitive, knowing that if you're a good team, is when you're able to disengage from fights. Even if it feels winnable, you need to be able to back off and heal, because shield health is so important. A lot of players come into competitive and ranked thinking that they can get away with 1v2ing, and that is not the play here, especially in this high of lobbies. You want to be able to back off. Now, Brotherhood does want to take this point in staging. They do want to be able to take this building because they can hold down here in the bunker, but Vamo Time is giving them a good run for their money. They have solidly placed themselves in here. I want to point out they also have similar character loadouts here with Valkyrie, Wraith, and Gibraltar. So they're going to have 2 bubble fights if they do end up pushing together. Yeah, Vamo Time just has every single angle here, but Brotherhood doesn't want to let up, and they are using Wraith to scout out and see where everyone is positioned, and they know that Yuri is alone, so they're going to push him. Vamo Time struggling a little bit here to fight off Brotherhood's advance, and 2 down. It's a 3v1, and Vamo Time does go down, and Brotherhood ends up being kill leader with Panic as kill leader here, and Brotherhood does get to take this point. Now, I want to point out, I did not do Caster's Curse this time, so I'm very glad, but Brotherhood showing how aggressive they are and laying down the law here. Now, we do see AK-47 moving in. They did take the spot that Horus was in, so I wonder what happened to Horus here, or if they are actually in the fight with AK-47 here. AK-47 trying to aggressively place themselves as the spot holders here in this rotation point. But they are taking a little bit too much damage. They are fighting a lot here. They're making a lot of noise. We know that there were several teams in this area, and this could quickly turn into a 4th and 5th party location. Fantastic bubble here from Khonshu. Beautiful bubble here, able to give his team some support. And they are at full health here, so they are going to be good for a fight. But again, like I pointed out, they are getting pinched from both sides now, so they do need to be incredibly conscious of where they decide to rotate, because they've made themselves known, and they are going to have to establish a new point of rotation here. They do have plenty of heals here, though, but it looks like they did end up getting themselves some KP, which is great. They just need to survive because we are at 15 squads left. Circle 2 will be closing in about 2 minutes as well. So again, it's 15 squads at Circle 2 not even having closed. Brutus is going to have to back off to shield here, but they are not able to push up, so they're going to be solidly living in this spot here. This choke point isn't exactly the best to exist in once the Circle 2 does start closing, because you do want to move in. Oh, and look at these crispy wingman shots here from Brutus, just absolutely laying down the law, pushing this Gibraltar that failed to protect his team, and they are going to get that team kill and secure themselves a whole team KP. Now, a blue-blue team is looking at 2 players. So it's going to be a 2v3 fight, so they need to pick their battles very carefully. They know that this team just finished fighting, but I don't think they know that their team is incredibly healthy and didn't take that much damage. So they are also sitting in the other choke point that leads into lava, and they are going to have to be careful here because they could get pushed by 2 different sides, and they only have 2 players. So again, Dogs is going to back off. Again, knowing when to back off in a fight in high-level lobbies like this is incredibly important, but you also don't want to be using up too many resources, especially when you know that you're going to be going up 2v3. I do want to point out that there is a 5-minute delay in chat, so if you guys are posting anything, I can see it after 5 minutes. But yes, so South American players really like to play and fight for their spots on drop, unlike NA or EMEA. EMEA likes to fight maybe around first circle closure, but South America is probably one of the most aggressive regions that I've seen, and they genuinely really like to fight off the drop. I also want to point out this team's name, OnlyFlans. OnlyFlans? Flans? I really like their name, and they are going to be looking pretty healthy here. Fangs has about 6 damage left on his shield to get to purple, and they do have Valkyrie, and they actually have 2 scan legends here. They have Valkyrie and Bloodhound, which is an interesting choice, but they do have movement as well, which is incredibly important. And Valkyrie is going to be great for rotations on World's Edge. Again, the last 3 maps that we see players contest on, we are going to be seeing on Stormpoint. So we may be seeing some legend changes up in these teams as well, actually.
Let's go this way.
Yes, and Team TikTok slowly making their way in. You can see how carefully DK is going in because he's the only one on his team currently. And he is moving in slowly because he knows that there are going to be teams just looking out for stragglers who are getting into the zone late. Now, this is zone number 2 closing, and we have 13 squads left. So we've seen 2 other squads get eliminated off screen, and teams are going to be solidly within positions now because zone number 2 is where things start getting a little bit scrappy for teams that are late into rotations. AVC looking to get into a fight here on the bridge. I do notice that a lot of players seem to prefer the wingman. Looks like AVC is looking pretty good with their ultimate status here. They are lower on shields for zone number 2, but they are actively looking for this fight. They want to secure their KP here with Zero pushing up on Wraith a little bit closer, getting some aggression off on this team, trying to secure some damage so this team can push in. But he is going to choose to back off because he's not getting that damage that he wants in order for his team to push in here. And this is against Team Tharsis. They actually have the same amount of shields, so these 2 teams could actually contest each other, but they know that they're going to be making a lot of noise, especially in this open area where they're not able to quite defend themselves. They do all have Gibraltar players, but that bubble is only going to last them so long, and there is that cooldown period. So they're actively choosing to be careful about their poking battles. I think they're just securing their shields here as they go into zone number 3, closing in 1.5 minutes. Yeah, Tharsis is just actively holding the spot. This isn't a terrible spot, but it's also not the best spot that you want to be in. We are going to see them trying to get some extra pokes here for damage and shields. They're going to be burning through their resources though, so they are playing a little bit smart. They do have their Wraith portal up on Trophy, so they can move in if they want. All right, here, and you can see in the observer feed how many teams are currently holding each other out here in this zone. Now, if you look at zone number 3, if my observers could pull up the map real quick, I just want to show our audience where exactly the 3rd circle is pulling. It is over Harvester, which is going to be one of the more aggressive zones. We're going to be seeing a lot of teams fight here, and I noticed that South America does not like to play Caustic, so we're not going to see a lot of bunker legends here. We're going to be seeing a lot of aggressive legends and a lot of aggressive plays. Because in order for you to narrow down a zone in Harvester, you're going to have to fight because it is a very open area. There's not a lot of cover to fight. So you can see here a lot of teams are existing outside of the circle as well. So there's going to be a lot of fighting just as they get into zone number 3. And that's not even the final zone. That is not even the final zone. We see a lot of teams looking to get into fights here. Yeah, OnlyFlans seems to be in the best position. They are actively looking in all directions, if you can tell. They are holding out as many teams as possible, but they're going to be getting into a fight here quite soon. They do have another team that's already in Harvester contesting for that final zone. Right, and Tharsis still actively looking for a way in because they know they don't want to be in this position for too much longer. And AVC also rotating in a very precarious situation. They do not want to last. They don't want to sit here for too long because this is open season on them if they do. This is one of those positions that you don't want to be in because you can be looked down and looked across at. But they are going to stay here for just a little bit longer. They are in the middle of zone number 3. So they're going to be looking to push in underneath in Harvester. They don't know that 2 other teams are currently living there, but, you know, they're going to have to take their risk. SemOrg looking pretty healthy here, looking pretty good. They are choosing the... Sky is choosing the Hemlock Mastiff combination, which I haven't seen in a while. Oh, there it is. He's switching out to the Flatline with a fully kitted blue mag on everything for heavy. And it looks like AK-47 is going to be keeping an eye on all these teams rotating in. They have a decent position for now, but once zone number 4 starts closing, they are going to be in a more nervous situation since they do have to move out and there is not a lot of cover going down that hill. Khonshu using the charge rifle, only 2 shots left, so he is going to have to switch out for a weapon unless he did have something on hand. He's going to be switching out for something a little bit more close range. OnlyFlans taking the fight here. And it looks like they were able to secure KP. They are waiting for this Gibraltar to get out of his shield, and they are absolutely demolishing him here. Now, they are looking to secure this kill on this Gibraltar, but they are also establishing their location here on Harvester. And Brotherhood struggling a little bit. Brotherhood is actually the team that is existing down below. Oh, and they're not looking super good. They are not in a good position. OnlyFlans wanting to come in and flank them and actively take this fight. They want to take this 3 KP, especially going into 11 squads left. Now remember, 11 squads is where you start getting extra points for placement here. And OnlyFlans looking really healthy, looking especially good going into this fight. Ooh, the PK shots just landing shot after shot on a ball. But it is a 2v2 now. This is going to be something that they're going to have to be careful about. They did lose their Gibraltar, so they did lose their shield. So they are backing off and regrouping here. Choosing the smarter route to disengage and regroup here. They are down their Gibraltar player, but it looks like Brotherhood is also down 1, so it's going to be a 2v1 here. They could take this if they want, and it looks like they are going to be taking that fight. They have to locate this last member of Brotherhood and eliminate him, and they are actively searching for him. And it looks like they found him. They're going to connect their shots here. Look at these absolutely crispy Mastiff shots as well. Oh! Okay, they actually got eliminated. OnlyFlans not able to succeed in that fight, and it was actually ULW that came in and helped eliminate them. They are overwatching now. They know that there's another squad down below. And SST holding out strong on this bridge. They do need to start moving in. There is a minute 20 left before they have to move in. I want to point out that we went from 11 squads to 6 within a minute. Oh, and I stand corrected. SST actually has a Caustic player, which just won them that fight. They were able to hold off this location, and now they do have Caustic's gas cover. Ooh, Spectre just absolutely demolishing with the R301. SST looking for another team kill here. Again, this location that you don't want to find yourself stuck in. Just bubble fighting here. You're not even using their bubble. You just being able to demolish team after team here. Now they are finding themselves in that exact position that Kunja's team was in, and they don't want to be here. They know they need to get out, but Gibraltar's kind of stuck here. Spectre was kind of left behind because he's not the most mobile most mobile character, so he is going to have to reshield and restock here and move to meet his team. But they do need to move into Circle 5 as the final zone starts to close in here. Oh, SST is just cleaning house, being able to take out Facebook here. Just cleaning house as they move into the next zone, and they're moving in absolutely uncontested. They do have to take one fight here, but they aren't struggling at all. They are looking good on shields, and they're looking pretty good, all things considered. They are able to take this location, and they're going to be able to live in the next circle comfortably. Now, we do have 4 squads left, and with Sunflower on the gold shield, with 7 shield cells left, he's looking pretty good. He does want to restock at some point, but it looks like they're not going to be able to give them any breathing room at all. With 4 squads left, everyone wants to secure that first placement point. So they are going to be trying to send in as aggressively as possible, because this is the South American region where there is no rest between circle closures at all.
Contact. Making contact with the enemy.
All right, Taz's team has been eliminated, and it is now 3 squads left. Now at third placement, you do get 20 extra points, so that is a pretty significant amount of points, especially with this region when we see that they have been getting some kills here. Ooh, Brutus, not looking so good. The single player left on his team, and he's getting absolutely focused here by the last 2 teams that are also looking at him and available. The other 2 teams are existing on top of each other, so they're not going to be able to fight quite yet. But it looks like the other team is sending, trying to be very aggressive, but they are making themselves incredibly vulnerable here by losing out on their shields, especially with 25 seconds left with the final zone closing in. They are all going to have to move in. Oh, I'm sorry, Brutus was not the last one left. He was very separated from his team. So AK-47 is a full and healthy team with red shields. They're looking quite good going into this last closure. But AK-47, they're not going to have a lot of cover going out of this location. So they are going to be the most vulnerable and focused team here as they have to move out. With 3 squads left, we do see things slow down just a little bit. AK-47 with the loot, gold mine here, shield swapping, making sure that they have everything ready because they know that they are in this incredibly vulnerable position. Oh, and they're able to move into the center circle without getting contested too much. SST trying to get as much damage as possible, but they realize that they have moved in already. They do have Caustic's ult, so they are trying to block out this team that is directly underneath them. And they are going to set off traps as much as possible. But it to be noted, Caustic's traps can now be damaged and killed outright, so this may not help them out too much. They may be able to get some slows here to keep the other team in the circle for a little bit longer. But again, we are seeing a lot of fast-moving teams with a lot of aggression, and we may be seeing some fights here towards the end. And I think Trinity is going to hold off on his ultimate until both teams underneath them are going to have to move in and meet. They don't have to move quite yet. They are actually in a pretty good position. They are in the best position so far. Yeah, AK-47 not looking so good with them losing out on cover here, and they are going to be absolutely bullied by SST's Trinity and their Caustic. All the ultimates are coming out now as the circle closes in. All the teams are going to be looking at each other. They are not going to have much cover here. SST is looking to be in the most winnable position here. Trinity still throwing out Caustic gas traps, just being an absolute menace, but they are going to have to leave here soon. AK-47 just fighting for their lives here, taking ult after ult, and they are getting as much damage down as possible, but Kurev using his Wraith portal to get out. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive enough. SST, one remaining member left, and that was enough to secure the kill. They were in the winning position, and they were able to win the first game of the day. What an incredible play. They were able to position. So SST, I want to point out, SST with that winning play, they were able to position themselves in the best place ever. And they were also able to secure some kills along their way. Incredible performance. Congratulations, SST, for winning the first game of the day. I love the aggression that South America shows because they're not afraid to take fights, and every circle closure we saw so many fights. I mean, we saw fights off the drop. So SST, I want to point out what they did really well. They were able to position themselves in circle rotations to take out teams that were slow to rotate. So we saw them to do that with their earlier team wipe. Then they were able to drop down to the team that was existing in that little canyon. And then they were able to push into the final zone uncontested because they were just on a roll. They were carrying that momentum, and they were able to position themselves on high ground for the final circle closure. So because they had a scan legend who was able to tell them where the final circle was going to be, they were able to move in sync together with the other teams and beat out other teams to that choke point. So incredible play by SST. I'm so surprised that Brotherhood did not place higher, especially with their aggressive plays that we saw earlier, but their KP may have been enough for them to secure a little bit higher placement because, again, KP, there is a ×5 multiplier. So we're going to take a look at the rankings here for game number 1. SST with 100 points. 100 points in the first game. That is incredible. And AK-47 with 75. Brotherhood, like I pointed out, even though they were eliminated at around 11th place, they are sitting at 46 points in 3rd place. ULW with 30, VLF with 25, Tharsis at 25, and OnlyFans at 16 points. And SemOrg is holding down 10th place with 1 point. Now, BRZ, we did see them come back from the last time that we casted for South America, and they are sitting in 11th place. Only game number 1. I said game number 1, these teams were going to see how the other teams played, and that's exactly what we saw happen. We saw a lot of contentions at early game drops, so we might be seeing some teams switch up where they choose to drop with this second game of World's Edge. The next 3 after that are going to be on Storm Point, so again, we are going to see the first game of Storm Point be teams figuring out where other players are going to drop, where they're going to rotate, and where exactly they want to contest for loot. So SST sitting at 100 with AK at 75. That is a significant gap there. And from 2nd place to 4th, that is also a pretty steep drop, even from 2nd to 3rd. So again, with game number 1, we are going to be seeing a lot of teams shake up how they play, shake up where they drop, and we might see some more early game drops, early game fights, just because Brotherhood isn't going to take too kindly to getting eliminated at 11th place. So we're going to take a quick break, make sure these teams are ready to go, and when we come back, we'll be going into game number 2.
Turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one. Watching these bunnies bounce. Shorty your 10 and rubber band. Come on for the 100 pound. All of the talk, but don't run them out. I'm trying to be out. All I really wanna know, when we leaving. All I really need to know is when we leaving. All I really wanna know, when we leaving. All I really need to know is when we leaving. you and you. And you too. And you and you. Let's go. When this money we partying. Pick it up. Too many bottles we bodying. It ain't enough. Give me the check. I give them the plastic. Don't gotta flex. I know what you asking. You need a lift. You look like you crashing. Here it come. What's in my cup? Only top shelf. Drink that. What's in my leaf? Gonna take this whole place out. Big facts. I do what I want. I do what it does. I'm moving around. I'm getting the love. It's me that you want. My schedule is plugged. But I'm here now. All I really wanna know. When we leaving. All I really need to know. Is when we leaving. All I really wanna know. When we leaving. All I really need to know. Is when we leaving.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, so I did see in chat that a few people were asking about the points breakdown. So if my producers would not mind going back to the placement and scoring overlay, we are going to be doing that real quick. Let's go over the scoring format for y'all. So we did see SST at 100, but for each kill, it is going to be 5 points. So KP is going to matter a lot here. And for placements, starting at 10th place, you're going to get 1 point. So from then up, you can see that it slowly goes up in increments. And then the most significant points that you can get from placement starts at 4th, where you get 15, 3rd, 20, and in 2nd, you get 30 extra points. And in 1st, you get 50 extra points. So it's going to mean a lot if you can get those last placements. But even if you land 5th, you can get 10 extra points. And if you've been slaying out like we've seen Brotherhood do the other match, you could see yourself getting 3rd place in that entire match. Even if 2nd place does have 30 points, you could easily outdo that just by getting KP. So with that point system in mind, we are going into game number 2 on World's Edge. The next 3 will be on Stormpoint. So we saw a lot of teams getting used to the way that everyone was playing because a lot of these teams have not played against each other. So first game in World's Edge, we got to see a lot of teams figure out, oh, you're going to land in my zone? I don't think that's okay. We saw a lot of teams get eliminated within second circle. So I'm expecting a lot of that same aggressive play. Thinking about it now, I'm not actually entirely sure how many teams are going to switch up their landing zones because they do solidly like their loot there. And South American players are very okay with fighting for their loot and their zones. So with that being said, I'm really excited to see where they're going to go and which teams are going to fight first, because I'm assuming some of these teams are going to want some revenge. So we are going into game number 2. We're going to see a drop from south to north this time. And it looks like it's a pretty even spread. Again, a lot of players are going to be dropping in their same locations. So let's go ahead and take a look at where exactly everyone is landing here. Now we're going to see the same teams in Skyhook, Climatizer, and Survey Zone, Survey Camp. And it's very interesting to see that Countdown is being completely overlooked here, and a lot of players seem to be sticking towards the major zones in the south here. So we're going to see some early game fights. Again, we do see some teams overlapping in zones. They are going to be fighting for their loot, and Team TikTok is in Fragment, coexisting with another team here, but they are going to be looking for loot as much as possible and trying to get into this fight to establish their themselves. Oh, I'm sorry, they're in Skyhook. So we did see that they probably have Skyhook, and they have Skyhook all to themselves. So this is going to be one of the rotation points that they can take over into Countdown if they want, because Countdown is a blue zone, so they will have some good loot there if they choose to. But they also know that to the east, there are other teams near Survey Camp that they can contest early game if they want to secure that KP. Looks like they are looking out. Now, they don't have the best shields for early game fights, but hopefully their other team, the enemy team, does not have good shields either. That is something that they have to count on, but it looks like they're just going to be able to get some free loot here and potentially go into Countdown if they want to get better shields. There is usually some better shields there. Skyhook is one of my favorite places to drop, but usually it's contested very heavily by many teams. One of my favorite places to drop is probably Survey Camp, and then rotating into either Climatizer or Skyhook, because it's a pretty good rotation point. You get lots of good loot. In Survey Camp, you are always guaranteed weapons, which is huge, because I don't know about you, but how many people in chat have you dropped into a zone and not found your ideal loadout or even a single good weapon? The amount of bows and EVA 8s I've come across have been abysmal. And we do have 17 squads left, and Circle 1 will be closing in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. So, it looks like they did get fired on, and Dupla is looking at rotating in quickly before anyone else does. Valmo Time, currently crafting everything that they need. They did choose the flatline again with 1 HN, so they are looking to get all their loadouts here. A lot of these teams are looking pretty healthy on shields starting out. They seem to have been very lucky with their drop loot. Now Dupla is actually getting into a fight here. Ooh, quickly turning it. Ooh, quickly turning it into a massive fight here. But his team, Keepstar's team, was not available here. But Shot is going to get this drop and get the res. He wasn't able to get the quick res here, though. Activated that animation a little bit too early. Now, Keepstar is going to have to fully heal, but Puddin is actually keeping the other team out at bay. They are able to hold out this zone. Keepstar does have to shield and fully heal before they're able to get into another fight. I don't know if they're going to take this fight here, just because they might be running low on resources. This is their first drop. They weren't able to get too good of loot. Their shields are lacking, but if they do win this fight, they could potentially upgrade to blue for the entire team. Now, Sem.org, we see here in Lava Siphon, and they are going to be looking out in multiple directions because this is a high point of contention as well. Very good loot here on drop. As you can see, with 2 purples and 1 blue shield, they're doing just fine, and they are trying to secure that extra shield here. Ooh, gets the crack on their enemy player here. They're just looking to hold out because they want to keep this zone. Again, no bunker legends here, so they are just actively holding them out, pushing them outside of this zone. And it's actually AK-47 who is being held out here. Karev has to fully heal as well. Khonshu, taking a little bit too much damage, has to shield and drop his drop his shield here as well. So it looks like they are actively looking to fully rotate because they are getting heavily held out here.
Optics here. Close range.
Yeah, ULW also in Lava Fissure or Lava Siphon here. They are looking to take this fight, dropping their ultimate, knowing that their enemy player's Gibraltar shield is going to go down any minute now, and they're going to have free damage. But MRG taking a little bit too much damage as well with only blue shields. They are actively having to re-shield. ULW looking to try to secure some damage in this fight, but they're not able to connect. Climbing up to the rooftop here is probably one of the more risky plays that you can take. ULW has to use their shield already, and this is going to be Facebook's team that is actively in this fight, but they're not looking too healthy. ULW might be able to get some KP here, but they are also being very careful about the way that they play this. So we're seeing a little bit more caution among these teams because they know how everyone plays. They're not quite sure who is who on the enemy team. They don't know how aggressive they're going to be, so they are taking their time to fully shield before they take this fight. Oh, and ULW actually does not have an active scan legend, so their Valkyrie can't give them the information they need within these buildings. So again, another reason why they're playing carefully. I don't think they're afraid to fight, but they are actively taking too much damage, and their resources are going to get burnt out if they're not careful. So they are actively looking to see what rotations they can take, what points they can take. SST, it's a SST down one member, but it looks like they did manage to even out the playing field. SST just going in with their Caustic player as well. The bunker is huge in Lava Siphon, but it looks like they are going to have to fight off another team that is entering the zone, and that's Horus looking incredibly healthy, pushing in here. A 3v2, absolutely decimating SST's Caustic player. Now we do see so many teams existing in Lava Siphon right now, and Horus ends up taking that team wipe. Oh, looking to get another. They are so aggressive, chasing down this Valkyrie, knowing that they can get this extra KP, and, ooh, almost gets the down there. They're going to be chasing actively. They know that they are down a player, but they can take this because they know that they are in the better positioning here. But Semorg, ooh, the Wraith player getting down. Sky is the only one left and has to figure out if they're going to stick through this, get some extra KP before they get killed, or if they're going to disengage fully. And Horus still looking pretty good here with one player down, but they are going to get that Gibraltar quick revive with the gold bag, which is huge for them. Horus is going to be a 3v3 in this fight. Semorg not looking too good. Sky still trying to secure some KP for their team. And Horus is fully back up now, so they are going to own this part of Siphon. So I think Sky is going to have to back off, try to get banners back or something, because that is not going to be viable for Sky to win or secure KP here now. Horus having that gold bag is going to be huge, and now they have free loot here. Just hand-delivered and hand-picked by them. So they are going to be able to win and secure this location. Now, I do believe there's still other teams in Siphon. Yes, and Sky did come back trying to get banners, and Sky is going to get absolutely punished here and eliminated and taken out. So that was Crowley who took out Sky. Horus just establishing their dominance here in Siphon, establishing their position, making sure that no one else... That was Crowley who took out Sky. Horus just establishing their dominance here in Siphon, establishing their position, making sure that no one else can come in, even with the bunker legend that they were facing up against. All right, so Zone 2 is going to be pulling in just under 2 minutes, 1 minute and 46. So we do see Horus trying to get back to full health. Crowley does almost have purple shield, so they are going to be looking pretty solid as a team here. They do have early KP, and it looks like another team is looking to push into Siphon. They do want to hold this position, so Crowley does have his ultimate. He's able to drop if he wants to. They have everything available at their arsenal if they wish. They have loot, they have shield swaps. They are going to be looking very strong defending their position here. But it looks like Horus is looking to rotate out just to capture some team members who are outside of the zone here, but PRV did push out a little too much, so he's going to go back and rotate back. And Crowley with the MVP shield, dome shield here. What? Oh my god. Look at how well he was able to communicate with his team, and PRV is now safe and able to fully shield and heal back here. Crowley giving everything he needs to his teammate. Now, FA is looking to come in and take this position potentially, but Mad isn't looking too good on shields here. White shield going up against almost a fully purple shielded team. Looks like Mad is actually just doing a little bit of scouting for his team here. FA wants to exist at the top. They're going to be okay. They're going to be able to stay in circle, but they know that they're going to have to defend their backs and their fronts from other teams. So not quite the most ideal position, especially when they have pretty mid to close range. So looks like they are going to be looking for taking this fight. Mad does secure blue shield, but now he has been completely cracked, so that's not going to help him out too much. They might end up getting pushed because the other team knows that Mad is out by himself scouting. EDR just making sure that their backs are clear. They know that there are going to be rotations coming in soon. And Mad is just waiting for his rotation, for his moment to be able to get back to his teammates here. But luckily, Wraith is a great scout character because she's able to get in and out of things quickly with her Q. Salavera trying to get some extra shots here with his long-range flatline. They know that there are teams surrounding them currently, and they need to find a next position as round 2 is closing. And I want to point out that we are sitting at 13 squads here. Mad thought about crafting, but not a great idea, especially when you know that there's a full team looking at you. Now, BRZ, one of our returning teams, actively holding out other team members here at this choke point. Now, this is one of the worst choke points as well because you have to funnel in such a straight line down this choke point. So they are actively holding out this team, making sure that they have to either take the long way around and risk taking storm damage or end up getting eliminated here. No click, just making sure that his team is completely protected. And a blue taking a long rotation in. They are actively opening themselves up to taking fire here, but they are defending themselves pretty well. They are down a member and they don't have his banner, so unfortunately they're going to be working at 2 players capacity. So we do see FA actively taking this fight behind them. They chose to drop from their high position and they are pushing around this trailer. Looks like Vamo Time was able to get away though, so they are going to disengage and potentially take a fight from lower ground, but it looks like they are going to fully disengage. True, again with white shields. White shields in third circle is not something that you want to be sitting in. This is not one of the best positions to be in. Yuri, taking too much damage as well, has to pull out a Phoenix. So it means that he has no... He's either saving his shield bats for later or has no shield bats, and this is not going to be looking too great for Vamo here. Now, they can sit here for a little bit. They might be okay for the next circle, but they are going to be hurting. TikTok gets taken down. Oh, my... TikTok has 1 member down, and they are going to be eliminated. So now we're also working at a 2-player team capacity, getting looked down at from ABC and another team. They are actively getting shot at. ABC in a pretty strong position here, but they are having to be careful about the shots that are taking from the other side. And they are going to have to move in a little bit as well. And TikTok is trying to actively get as much KP as possible before they get eliminated. Moretta trying to go aggressive, but does get downed for that, gets punished. And now it's down to Gwyn, the Gibraltar player on their team, to either res or disengage. And that's actually BRZ holding them out here. BRZ looking to move in as well. And it looks like they are in the better position, holding high ground, but they don't have an angle. So BRZ is going to be able to take a little bit of space here. BRZ is a little bit too spaced out. TikTok, Moretta does go down again. It's down to Gwyn, and Gwyn only has a white shield. That is not looking too good. BRZ looking to move in, get a little bit more aggressive, secure that last KP, and it looks like they were able to secure both kills on Gwyn and Moretta. So that is TikTok getting fully eliminated there, and BRZ gets to secure 3 KP. All right, and FA is currently taking this fight down below. They weren't looking too good. Oh no, they were the team that was looking very good, but now they are actively pushing. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. Both teams are actually defending very heavily, and they are sitting outside of the zone. They need to take this fight quickly. Yuri having to fully back off, but does get down. They are down a shield now. They are having to work off of the enemy player's Gibraltar shield now. Vamo, not looking too good. It's down to True to see if he can play for placement here. 10 squads left. This is where you get 1 extra placement point. FA looking pretty strong. They could finish out Vamo if they wanted to, but it looks like they are choosing to stay inside because they do know that they are on the edge of circle. They have multiple teams looking down at them. They know that they have to play carefully, and that is okay if they don't secure the kill. If they don't secure the kill on the last remaining team member of Vamo, and that is all right. They are trying to play for survival here and get picks where they can. Solivera looking pretty good with red shields here, though. FA looking very healthy. They now do have extra loot that they can restock on. So they're looking pretty good. They're going to try to move in as quickly as possible into the next zone. This is zone number 4. 10 squads left again. And it looks like they did find the other member of Vamo, but having to pull out the Gibraltar Dome pretty quickly. Vamo is not going down with it a fight. Trying to secure at least 1 KP before they get down, but he does go down. True, the last member of Vamo gets eliminated at 10th place. Unfortunate, but a valiant effort. Looks like Solivera is going back to get some extra loot here. He's able to, I don't know if he's able to do so without taking storm damage, so he's going to do that for the shield swap, but it was in place of his red, so he's grabbing every single bit of resource that he can. As the zone is going to be closing in about 30 seconds here, and AVC does need to move in, so they are going to be giving up their higher ground, and they are going to be pretty vulnerable going into the space where the other team is existing. They do know that other teams have been living in Siphon for quite some time, ever since drop, and they are looking healthy because they have been winning all of their fights. So AVC has to move pretty quickly. They do have their Wraith player down just in case that they need to use her portal, but it's just the means of having to find the exact way in, hopefully doing enough damage to a team on either side of them to be able to make that way for them. So we're going to be seeing them struggle to get in a little bit. BRZ also existing on the outside of this Siphon zone. Lots of fights going on. We're sitting at 9 squads left as zone number 4 is going to be closing. I think this is the most that we've seen in a South American region. Usually with zone 4 closing, we see at least like 5 teams existing. But it looks like there's so many fights happening. And AVC has Zero's intel about how many teams are existing on which side, and they know how to move in. They are actually inside of circles, so they're going to be looking to take the fight, the best fight that they can within third-party elements here. Looks like Zero is pushing up a little bit, looking to take this fight on the right-hand side. They know that one of their teams is looking a little bit rough, but they do need to be actively aware that this could easily turn into a fourth-party situation. So they are looking to secure as many kills as possible because they are not sitting on, as far as I know, AVC is not sitting on any KP here. They're playing for placement. Again, starting at 10th place, you do start getting 1 point. So they do have some placement points here, but it is not a lot. AVC looking a little bit separated here as well as they're looking to take this fight. Horus has been existing in this space for quite some time, and they do have a Kraber, and they're sitting on 4 kills at least on one person. On Pid? I'm so sorry if I say that name wrong. But they do have shield swaps. They have every single resource they need. They're looking pretty healthy. They have their ultimates. They are going to be just fine here. So we do see FA still trying to get in here, but they are being actively held out, and this zone is going to be closing in 30 seconds, which this zone is going to absolutely tank players. Horus just looking absolutely strong here, getting the crack on the Gibraltar with the Kraber shot there. FA, you are going to be struggling to get into this final circle here. They are going to be held out. They need to do something. If they take that Valkyrie rotate, that might be a little bit risky here. They know this. They are trying every single thing to do to get inside. And I think I saw a dropship for a revive. Oh my god! Pid just getting every single crack on these players. He has 1 shot left, has to make it matter. And he is going to try to hold out these last few players, trying to get into the circle, trying to get underneath them. But I want to point out Horus also has to move in a little bit into circle, so they are trying actively to hold out these other players. BRZ, they did end up getting in, but they get eliminated immediately. AK-47, the last team down below, they need to move in before that circle closes. But Horus moving in, trying to get the extra KP here, does get the knock, and they're going to be able to go for the other knock. Team players, oh, but they have another team coming in. What is happening? Mad getting the knock on Pid, who was absolutely shredding on the Kraber earlier. Horus doing everything they can to try and stay alive. And Dupla is looking at this fight. PRV being able to disengage and has to survive long enough for his team to secure that placement point because they're sitting at 6 squads here. PRV did the right thing here in disengaging. Absolutely beautiful play there. Even though he could have tried to fight with his team there was no way that they were going to win that with all the damage and the circle damage coming in. So now PRV is going to play solo for placement. 6 squads left. They do have kills so that if they can multiply this placement with their points, with their KP, they might be sitting pretty good. So we do see 2 teams existing in the building together and 2 teams outside. 6 squads left going into final circle. Oh, PRV did take the fight and gets eliminated at 6th place. Unfortunate, but they will be able to secure some points for that. Again, for 6th place, you're going to be getting 5 extra points. So it's not a whole lot. But I don't think FA gave him any options there. I think he had to fight for his life. All right, now we do see the last 2 teams on the outside that are fighting that don't have any building space, looking at each other, trying to get some poking damage, seeing who's going to be the most damage coming into this circle next. They are going to be seeing this circle close. They are going to have to push out first. So we do see 2 other teams looking and actively fighting to move the other team first. FA looking pretty strong. EDR with the Spitfire. Ooh, and does eliminate Brutus. And that does bring it down to 4 squads left. They're going to be able to get this revive off, and Solavera needs to heal pretty quickly as the circle is closing. And they're not going to be able to get too much time and space to heal here. But they are actively holding out the other teams that are trying to fight them here. Solavera is actually back up to full health now, so they're looking pretty good, but they are getting held out actively by the other teams that are outside the building. Gibraltar Dome does come out. EDR still has an ultimate that he can use in the final circle. They did down Only Fangs, which I believe was the last member of Only Flans left. So now it is 3 squads left. All the nades coming out. EDR getting the upper skyward nade, just waiting for the other team to push out. They don't have their Gibraltar Dome. They may be going down here. AVC pushing out. They do get the elim on their Valkyrie player. And they are able to push in, and they're just actively taking this fight. They're looking healthy. It is a 3v1 here with the last 2 squads, and AVC takes the win for game number 2. What a beautiful play. AVC went from being in a slightly unwinnable position to being in a strong space here. They were doing such a great job of positioning themselves, making sure to take fights when they could. AVC did a fantastic job. Congratulations. Not only did they secure enough KP to secure their placement now, they also secured 50 extra points for getting first place, which is absolutely incredible. So what we're going to be seeing is a huge point jump, placement points, and KP. So whenever that scoreboard is ready, I think our producers are going to switch that scoreboard over, and we're going to see where they place now. AVC up at 75 points now. Dupla is now at 78. So AVC is only 3 points off from being in 3rd place. AK-47 is living, and they are thriving in 2nd place. They have 100 points, and SST only got 5 extra points that time. Now remember, SST first game had 100 points. So the fact that they were eliminated early and only were able to secure 5 extra points this round is huge. I don't know what they need to do, but we need to see them pull out their stops that they did in game number 1. Huge game for AVC, and Brotherhood moving up from 11th, 10th place? No, Brotherhood actually got bumped down. They are sitting at 67 points, which isn't too far off from beating AVC out in 4th place, but we are going to have to see them pull out some extra plays. Brotherhood, I am rooting for you. You are my team that I am rooting for. We need to see you pull out some extra stops here, but here is what you're seeing. Horus, who we saw living in Siphon for so long, is sitting at 35 points. So they showed up this match, but they need to keep showing up for the next 3 matches in order for them to bring up back their points. So AK-47, 100 points, had a huge game, Dupla also did fantastic work. AVC 75, pulling themselves up by their bootstraps for game number 2. Absolutely incredible. Now, again, game number 3, we are going to be doing a map change. So we're going to be going into Storm Point, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge for teams because there are some choke points in Storm Point that are absolutely horrible to go through. And again, it is about 15% bigger of a map than World's Edge. So we are going to be seeing teams, again, actively learn how other teams are going to be playing, how they're going to be dropping, where exactly they need to be contesting. So it's going to be like game 1 of World's Edge all over again, but on Storm Point with teams learning how everyone is going to be playing. So we're going to take a quick break, make sure that we have everything set for the maps for you, and we'll be right back with game number 3.
I'm always trying to see through your flaws, 'cause I know that you got so much more to give. You made a real mess, but I miss you though, 'cause I can go to sleep when I'm alone again. Say you wanna fix our problems. How long should I be waiting? Feels like I've had too much of drama, but I'm not ready to give in. Of your good side, I start wondering how I could make it last a little longer. Say you wanna fix our problems. How long should I be waiting? Feels like I've had too much of drama, but I'm not ready to give in. Baby, bittersweet and I'm walking slow. Sensitive, feel the afterglow.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, this is going to be game number 3 that we are going into. So real quick, let's go over the format and the rules again. So we're going to look at the point structure and how many points you can get from placements. So we're going to quickly go over to that real quick again. So again, Storm Point is going to be the last 3 maps. So game number 3, 4, and 5 will be on Storm Point. So you get 5 points per kill, so that's per KP. And starting in 8th to 10th place, you start getting 1 point extra for placements, which it's not that much. So you really need to be focusing on getting KP just in case you get eliminated early, because again, this lobby is aggressive. We are talking teams that are not afraid to push and fight for not only their zone, but someone else's zone. So where the points start mattering is around 5th. Place, you get 50 points, which we saw AVC take a massive win. But of course, they are now sitting at around 3rd place. In order for them to bring up to 1st place, they have to meet 105 points, which honestly, 75 is not that far off. We saw SST take 100 points in their first game. So 100-point games are absolutely possible. In this lobby, I am shocked that not everyone is placing at 100 because, listen, this lobby is just so aggressive. I love seeing it. It makes me really happy because there's not much dead air, you know? I don't have to riff too much. And also the players are incredibly talented. You see how they move. You see how they're not afraid to give up a fight. But that does mean in some cases that we are not seeing a lot of ratting going on, which could be important for these placement points that we are talking about. So we are going to be seeing if these teams are going to be playing a little bit more carefully, because Storm Point, again, it's about 15% bigger than World's Edge. So it is a bigger map. There's more ground to cover. You need to be moving very quickly. You absolutely need a scan legend who is able to tell you where the map zone is going to pull, because if you're not moving, that storm can catch you. That circle can catch you off guard. You are wanting to play circle. Now, Storm Point is pretty new for competitive play. So again, a lot of players are going to be learning how other players want to place and play on this map, which completely normal. So we are going to be going into game number 3. We're going to be seeing where everyone is dropping. Lightning Rod is actually one of my favorite places to drop. High Point and Lightning Rod may actually find themselves in a battle here. So we're going to be keeping an eye out on this, because this is one of those things where everyone is learning this new map for competitive. This is very new to competitive play, right? So again, huge map, lots of resources that you can get. Again, like we see from ULW taking out this flyer, there's some extra loot here. There are also wildlife that you can clear to get yourself extra attachments, ammo, and health. So this is an incredibly good map for competitive, but you also have to be very aware of the rotation points, because again, like I keep saying, there are a lot of choke points on Storm Point that can catch you by surprise, and you can get eliminated incredibly quickly. So, High Rise can lead over to Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod may see a fight there. There's really good loot, so ULW may be in for a struggle if they do decide to take this early game fight. But you can already see that the circle is pulling down, so they're going to have to move in very quickly, and they do have a Valkyrie who can add that. And again, I'm very curious to see how many teams are going to be changing up their legends, because of how big Storm Point is. They're going to have to change up how they move around. They're going to need more movement legends. Now, Ashe is a pretty good character for this map as well. Valkyrie is very great for quick rotations outside of major POIs. AVC, the victors of the last match, are looking pretty okay. They're in one of the biggest POIs that players often fight for loot in, but it looks like they are mostly uncontested here. So they are going to be looking to move around, grab as much loot as possible. Looks like they are going for the charge rifle Peacekeeper combo again. Yes, and they are going to be grabbing as much loot as possible. Oh, and the Havoc. So the Havoc has been pretty good for this season, especially since the turbocharger drops a little bit more. But Vamo Time is actually looking to take on AVC here. Looks like there is another team existing in here, but they might actually be switching out to get more loot. Vamo Time looking around, making sure that they aren't missing anything, making sure they aren't missing out on their players on the enemy team moving around. But it looks like they are actively going to disengage from this and not take the fight. But they are on the edge of circle, so they could take this fight if they wanted to. This is one of those cases where you need to look at the circle and see if it is worth taking. Now, VLF in an active fight here towards Fish Farm. They know that there's a full 3-stack team here. They are all looking pretty healthy on health, except for Pasho now taking a little too much damage. Ooh, VLF not looking too good here. Having to pull out the Gibraltar Dome inside, and they're not going to be able to get a shield swap in time. Facebook not looking too good here. Goes down. Their Gibraltar player is down. But OnlyFlans, it was OnlyFlans that they were fighting up against. Only has 1 player up. So they might be able to completely take this fight. But OnlyFlans is also backing off to fully heal, using the R99, but does take a little bit too much damage. Is he going to be able to pull it off? And no, he gets eliminated, and VLF gets the full 3 KP here and can get the revive and reset. Now, they do need to pull into the circle, but they're not too far off, so they have 30 seconds to move. They also have a Valkyrie, so they're going to be doing just fine. AVC is currently moving into the circle, and they are going to be taking one of the more hidden loot spots. I like dropping here because I feel like it has some pretty good loot and also always has weapons, but it is one of those positions that you are going to be seen coming out of. Now, SST is actually very close by taking out some spider nests for that loot and attachments that I was just talking about. All right, so now we do see SST just moving about. SST is going to be looking at this team that is also moving into their little cave spot. So they might actually end up taking this fight, but they are outside of zone. Again, it's only round 1, so they're not going to have to worry too much about it. AVC is actively already rotating out, so they might take their time with some loot here. Again, the reason you're not seeing a lot of fights right now is because Stormpoint is just a huge map. There is so much ground to cover, especially with even Circle 1 closing.
Meet me here.
All right, so Tharsis did end up looting towards the wall, towards the northern side. So they are going to be rotating in. They do have some time, but Dupla doing the smart move and figuring out where exactly they need to go with the map. See, this is what I mean is so important, especially on Stormpoint, because it is such a huge map. You want to get into the rotation points early. Now, Brotherhood, again, the team that I was rooting for when I saw the roster, they are looking to rotate in as well. A Blue is pretty close by. A lot of these teams are getting pushed into the same choke point. And this is something that I was talking about with Stormpoint. You don't see players until you see the entire lobby in one area. So a lot of these teams are rotating in. A Blue trying to fight Brotherhood here, I think. And Brotherhood just did get caught out. They did do a little bit of damage, but not enough to actually fully push in. And Fix only has Gray Shield, so he's not going to be able to fully push in aggressively. And we do see him on Loba. That is one character change that we did see. Now, that Loba is incredibly important on Stormpoint because you want to be able to loot quickly and rotate quickly. So, being able to have a Loba and a Valkyrie on the same team is huge. They are... Oh, they knocked Brotherhood out of taking a Valkyrie ultimate. That is awful. And they were able to get the extra kill on Panic there. Semorg also shooting down at these two teams here, getting the higher ground. They actually have Godspot here, being able to take damage or get damage on all these teams rotating in, trying to find cover. They might be able to down that Gibraltar, and I think they actually just did. Sky pointing out everywhere all the different enemies that you can point out and try to eliminate here. And Nice is just being absolutely aggressive and a menace on that charge rifle. And Tress has to drop his shield just to be able to shield here and heal up a little bit. Blue not looking too great coming into this building. They know that there's another team inside. They're going to have to be very careful and cautious about how they choose this fight. They know that there is another team actively looking at them. All right, but it's good that they have a Loba on their team. She can drop her ult and they can get shielded up again. They are taking this building for free, so they're going to be just fine here. Oh, and Brotherhood not looking too good. It's down to Saab here. He's going to have to play very carefully. He wants to move, but not too quickly because he doesn't want to get caught out by these two different teams looking at him right next door. Now, lucky for him, Ablulu does not have a scan legend, so he won't be detected. But TikTok also in a fight here. Gwyn has already dropped his shield, and he is in a fight actively. Oh, and they easily take out Taz's team here. Look at that team push, the coordination that they had. Gwyn didn't even have to heal because when his team pushes together and focus fires, your enemies will go down so quickly. So you need to know when to pull back and heal, but also when to not heal and push with your team, because that extra damage, even if you are damaged, counts for so much. All right, so we are seeing Dupla kind of struggling here, but they are going to be able to get the revive. And no gold back, but I think they'll be just fine in resetting. They do have the Wraith, so she can disengage by herself if she needs to. And Puddin is fully healing. These Prowlers, though, are going to give them a little bit of trouble here. And I think we do see Nice take a little bit of damage from the teams and from them. So Samorg struggling a little bit on lower ground, but are able to hold off just enough to get a little bit of cover. Sky taking too much damage yet again. Sam having to struggle between two different areas and try to find cover, but they are going to find cover within this next hut. Horus is actually one of the teams fighting inside this area here. Real quick, Horus making quick work of them, trying to secure some KP, but unable to get the down here, and he gets downed as well. PRV, the last remaining member, does get eliminated, unfortunate, by Sunflower, and Semorg pushing in, knowing that they can third party this fight. Just absolutely rolling them. They are down to a 2v2 though, so they are going to have to push in, and it's a 1v2. Nice trying to fight for his life here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, and he does get eliminated here by ULW. And SST is coming into third party as well. What is happening? SST down to one member, trying to secure some KP, trying to secure the placement, because there are still 11 squads left. You don't get any points for 11 squad. You don't get any level extra points. But Sunflower knows that there is a full, healthy team there. Dupla also on top, helping shred all these teams, increasing the chances of third parties. Ooh, just absolutely decimating them with the Wingman and the Mastiff combo. Look at Shot just pushing in with his team, and does get the kill on Faria. So they are able to get that full team wipe as well. So that is Dupla holding down the ground in this location. SST Sunflower does end up rotating out, is able to get out, and I think we're going to be able to see our first rad cam in a while. Sunflower is looking to stay pretty close, stay within circle, but not go too far in. And Dupla's looking pretty healthy. They have all of this loot, so they're going to be able to keep this location just for themselves. So I do believe that they were able to take out ULW. Now there are 10 squads left, and it is circle number 2 that will be closing in very soon. So they are going to be able to get enough loot, top off on shields. They're looking pretty good. They have a lot of KP. AK-47 still existing in this POI. They are not going to be fully sending into a fight, just making sure to hold out enough team members, because this is probably the best place you can be towards holding out the edge of circle, but they don't want to push out too much, so they are sticking to their building and making sure that they can bully the other teams nearby as much as possible and keep other teams off of height. Ooh, AK-47 Kurev just absolutely shredding with the R301, but they don't want to take too much time fighting here, even if it is just poking damage for their shields. They do have 362 damage for their next shield. So they do have some damage left on their shields. They're just trying to take extra damage here, maybe build up their shields to red, but that is going to be unfortunate because the charge rifle actually takes quite a bit of ammo now to shoot. So they're going to have to be careful and not spend all their resources in one fight. AK-47 also push. Ooh, Brutus pushed out a little bit too much by himself, and he does get downed. And Conchu's trying to find out how he can rescue his teammate, but I don't know if the rescue is going to happen. Because, again, in these lobbies, chat, we see that they are incredibly aggressive. But look at this. Kurev saving Brutus. I love the teamwork that you can see here. Brutus should have been punished for pushing out too far, but you know what? FA did not get the kill. Oh, but FA is actually getting bullied off their position now from a team behind them. This is what I mean by late rotations. You're going to see a lot of teams fighting outside of the edge of circle because they are rotating in very slowly due to the massive size of Storm Point. So it looks like Madsen is actually getting his teammate out using the Wraith Portal, but that does exist, and Silivera has 26 seconds left on his shield. They're getting absolutely bullied. AVC also in the other building, making sure to bully these teams as much as possible because they know that they are weak. They know that they're getting looked at by every team, and they want to steal that KP. AVC pushing out. This might be a risky play because they do know that this other team was being looked at by other players in the area, but they want this. They're aggressive. They want this KP. Pulling out the Ashe ult. Ashe, again, a fantastic legend for this map here, and we see Kunjas just working that PK, getting so much damage off, but unable to secure the kill here, and it's a 1v1 here. AVC does secure the kill for his team here and is trying to get a shield swap before he fully gets his teammates back up. And that's AK-47 actively trying to get his team some KP there because they know that only one member is up. But they opt for the scan instead so they can move into circle. And AK-47 is playing very smart. Now you can see how many teams are existing here. We have 9 squads left. The circle is still pretty big for Storm Point, and there are lots of points that these teams can use to rotate in on, but they know that it is all open area if they decide to rotate now. So they're waiting. We have a minute. Everyone's doing just fine. Where they're positioned at is okay. AK-47 making sure that they can keep these teams off of high ground here. They don't want them to get the high ground because they don't want them to have God Spot, because that means that they're going to have a harder time rotating in. They do have a Valkyrie ultimate that they can use if they want to, but again, it is incredibly risky to use that. It's one of those things where you have to outweigh the pros and cons of being able to rotate in quickly and clear lots of ground, but also being the focus of everyone. We saw that with Brotherhood. They got incredibly punished immediately right off the bat for using their ultimate in front of another team. So knowing when to use it is going to be crucial. AK-47 getting a little bit aggressive here, pushing towards the top. They want to get this rotate. They are now within circle. They want to take this position from this team that is actively pushing up. But they are down Kuriv. Kuriv had to stay back to heal a little bit. Now Dupla, I don't know what we saw here, but it looks like they are actually doing very well on kills. They might be securing their first place spot after this on the leaderboard overall. Now we do see them actually getting into a fight here. Two members of their team have red shields, 1 gold, so they are looking just fine on shields. They're going to be fine in any fight that they decide to instigate, but they're choosing to stay back for right now. They don't need to move. They want to keep this position. They are on high ground. They know that they can overlook all these teams that might need to rotate in, and because they have a Valkyrie, they probably do have the next Storm Point location. So they're going to stay here. They're sitting pretty. They don't need to move anywhere. They also have a drop that's going to be landing right next to them that they can take and potentially use to their benefit. I love watching South American team players because they are just so aggro, and it makes me really happy. As someone who has been very aggressive myself, I really love seeing that sort of playstyle validated, especially with these competitive, highly talented teams. Oh, it looks like they did get the Volt SMG, but I don't know who's going to take that on their team. They should definitely take it. That thing shreds now, especially since it got a buff being put into the care package. All right, we do see TikTok actually trying to push Dupla out of their location. Ooh, but they do get naded. Oh no, and DK gets downed so quickly. DK stood no chance there. Now TikTok, the rest of DK's team is sitting in a building, and they're trying to do some damage, but it's not enough. They have blue shields and 1 purple shield. That's not going to be enough to be able to push Dupla. Dupla is looking so healthy, and now they have extra loot that DK just hand delivered to them. Ooh, but Gwyn does get some good damage off on their other Valk, or on their other Wraith, and drops the ultimate, but that's not going to do a whole lot because they're not sitting outside. They're going to be just fine. Dupla is still looking healthy and strong here. Vamatime trying to push in. They do see ultimates coming out, and they do have this team holding them out up on God Spot here. They're trying to move up, but they are actively being held out. They are not going to be able to make this in, but they do see that the Gibraltar dome has come down, and that is AVC holding them out here. But they're also actively fighting against their backs. They're getting sandwiched, and they need to choose a team to fight against, and they choose to go backwards. But they are losing this fight against Vamo time. Vamo try to eliminate the last member and secure this KP, but I think that AVC actually was able to get away. So Vamo is going to full heal, and they're going to reset because they do need to start moving in, and they are going to use Wraith's portal to get in and out of this location because they are still getting fired on from that team that was ahead of them. And now it is only a 2v3 here, and they're going to eliminate the last member of AVC with the punch. Absolutely a menace. And they were able to get Yuri's banner here, so they might be able to res him towards the end. There is one spot still available, but they need to be very careful. So VLF looking okay. They are actually the team up in God spot, getting all of this information, all the teams below. Ooh, and Z getting a little bit aggressive, dropping down from God spot. They didn't have to move, but they are getting a little bit aggressive, but it's okay because he is the Loba player, so he can bracelet back up top if he needs to. All right, AK-47 is still looking pretty good. They are existing underneath, and they are just going to be trying to play for survival here. SST looking good as well. Full team. They were able to fully reset from that last push that they had. All of these teams are looking very good on KP. They're doing just fine. Now they just need to play for placements, and there are 6 teams left. Ooh, Trinity taking a little bit too much damage. Now, if you remember, the last 2 games on World's Edge, Trinity was the Caustic player. And he has opted to play Ash, which is incredibly a very good legend for Stormpoint. Dupla still holding strong here. They do need to move outside, though. They have been holding this POI for so long. And I just want to point out that Puddin has 5 kills and is kill leader just by himself. Incredible stats here. Now, remember, every kill is 5 extra points. So they have secured 25 points just off of that, plus 6th place, which 6th place, if we double check, is going to be 5 extra points. So you want to start surviving towards 5th place, because 5th place is when you start getting 10. So 10 extra points is going to help out quite a bit. And TikTok, ooh, Moretta, looks like they actually did push for this, but were unable to survive. VLF, Tasho getting taken down, and Prince also getting taken down here. Where is the last member? AK-47 looking pretty good, but they are getting actively shot by multiple teams here. Brutus does go down. Khonshu trying his best to keep his teammates alive here, but he doesn't have his dome yet, and he's trying to get his teammate into safety. Karev trying to hide behind Gibraltar and the shield, but unfortunate, they did get eliminated there. And Dupla, again, that was Team Dupla coming in. And I want to point out that they just took kill leader from themselves again within their team. 6 kills just on 1 player. I am incredibly impressed by Dupla. I don't know what they did. They took their coffee. They took their stims. They are awake and here and absolutely dominating. Dupla now in circle, 4 squads left. Dupla just absolutely shredding these teams, taking out Moretta, the last member of TikTok, and now there are 3 teams left. Dupla just absolutely shot, just tanking these nades and able to get a full shield off. I think they are very quite in line to win, and they do take out the last member of Brotherhood, who is also a solo player. Now it's the final 2 squads. It is Dupla, and we're not quite sure who the last team member is, or last team is, but they are actively going against this fight. Dupla looking incredibly strong, setting up that Wraith portal so that they can have it for an escape method. And it is actually SST that is still alive. So it's going to be SST versus Dupla here for 1st place. Now SST, we did see them pop off earlier, but they weren't able to secure extra KP. So now this is where they want to get that KP. They want to steal that from Dupla, because Dupla has been absolutely rolling this entire map. Oh, and SST, they have the positioning. They are moving up slowly. Round 6 is going to be closing. The final zone is going to be closing, and SST has them surrounded. They're all looking pretty equal on shields here, so it's all down to who can get the first down in each squad. SST, Sunflower having to fully shield. Spectre having to shield as well. They need their Gibraltar healthy. Gibraltar is the key to this fight. The dome does come down from SST first. It's going to go out first. Dupla drops their dome in response. They're just fighting in the domes. They're waiting for the dome to go down, and SST is out of cover. Shot does have no more shields. Puddin goes down. SST trying to fight for their lives, and SST did take the win by baiting their time and waiting for Dupla's shields to go down. Dupla did such a fantastic job of absolutely owning the lobby, but unfortunately they were not able to capitalize off of SST's shield going down first. But huge win nonetheless. Again, we're going to see if KP matters here. Again, well, KP does matter, but we're going to see if Dupla's KP is enough to take over first place from this match. Because again, they were rolling that lobby. So, and there it is. There it is. Proof is in the pudding about Dupla taking first with 188 points. But SST is not far behind. SST is not far behind it with 185. That is 3 points difference off of first place. AK-47 is only 40 points behind in third place with 140, AVC with 101, and Brotherhood with 87. So we did see Dupla absolutely wake up and show up here. What on earth is going on? 3 points off from first and second place. Absolutely incredible work from Dupla. We saw them just decimating. I think this is their map. We can see that they're incredibly coordinated. They knew exactly where they wanted to go. They were scanning. They were making sure that they knew where the next circle was going to be. They moved very quickly and incredibly well coordinated. So you know that they are practiced on Storm Point and they are ready. Storm Point is, again, a very new map for competitive. So the fact that they were this coordinated on match number 3, the first match in Storm Point, is incredibly impressive. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have game number 4 and see if SST can take first place back.
I've been getting out of bed these past few days. Think it's fair to be proud about it. I've quit ordering from all those fast food chains. I'm feeling better, there's no doubt about it. And my days are brighter, my shoulders are so much lighter. Just for a moment there, I thought that there was nothing more to life. I thought about it, wrote a couple songs about it. Just for a moment there, I lost myself. Mind if I be real for a minute? It's almost like everything I feel had a limit. It now gone past. Finding reasons to smile and to laugh, and whenever it's a bad day, music is my band-aid. Here the other day, I turned off all the lights. Spent an hour with my memories, and then I realized it's not all black and white. Like I was colorblind, but mentally, yeah. Now my days are brighter, just no longer feeling tight. I don't wear my PJs every day, 'cause I would rather be on site. I thought about it, wrote a couple songs about it. Just for a moment there, I lost myself. Music is my band.
All right, welcome back. This is game number 4. I can't believe it's been 4 games already because these go by so fast. And okay, I thought Storm Point was going to be a lot slower. It kind of was in the beginning, but it absolutely sped up by circle number 2. So let's go over the format real quick. Let's do a little refresher because, again, there was a lot of chaos in that last match. So, you know, we might have been thrown off. Again, the next match going to be on Storm Point again. And remember, it's 5 points per KP. So you saw Dupla absolutely rolling that lobby, which means that they had so many points. And even though they got second place, they were able to take first place again overall on the score leaderboard. So a lot of the teams we saw getting eliminated didn't end up getting any points, unfortunately, because 11th to 20th place, you get 0. At 10th place, you start getting 1 point, which is not that much. And really, when you start surviving towards 5th place, that's when you start getting double-digit scores, which is great. So you get 10, then at 4th, you get 15, 3rd, 20, 2nd, 30, and in 1st, you get 50 points, which is huge. And that definitely helped with SST when they won. So they got 50 extra points on top of the other KP, but because they didn't have as much KP as Dupla, they were unfortunately put in 2nd place, 3 points behind Dupla. Dupla is at 188. Honestly, this game, I want to see 200. I want to see Dupla pull out to 200 points. AK-47 is doing pretty well too, in 3rd place at 140. ABC is at 101, and Brotherhood is at 87. I really want to point out and congratulate Brotherhood on surviving for so long, because I believe they lasted until 4th or 5th place last match, because they had a rat that was able to move out, but unfortunately was caught out by the 2 different teams, SST and Dupla, when they were trying to rotate in. But honestly, a rat in a top 3 situation is incredibly difficult to do in South America because they are so aggressive. They're also very aware of how many teams are around their immediate location so quickly, even without proper scan legends, like without Bloodhound or Seer or someone who can give them that immediate feedback. So I want to point out that they were able to do this without a Bloodhound, which if you watch NA and EMEA, that is something that you see quite a bit. I'm also not seeing a lot of Cryptos, which is fine. We do see a lot of Valkyries being in play and Ashe, which makes me incredibly happy because they are both incredibly viable on these on Storm Point. So it looks like they're going to be teams dropping again, pretty spaced out in their same locations that they were landing before. We might see some early game fights in case there are some rotations, but again, it's a pretty big map and we didn't see any early game fights just due to the fact that everyone was so spaced out. So we might be able to see some fights as Circle 1 closes and as Circle 2 starts. Which, if you remember, on World's Edge, we did see a lot of fights happening as Round 1 was about to close. So pretty early on in Round 1. All right, and FA is choosing this drop point here. This is actually one of the better locations. I can't think of the name currently, but it's one of the best locations that you can get for loot. But it looks like they are actively looking at another team that has landed, and that's VLF that has landed in their same zones. They're going to be looking to contest each other. I'm sure that they are aware of each other's presence. They are trying to loot up as quickly as possible. This is why Loba can actually be so good. Especially when you do land in a zone next to an enemy team, you're able to just steal all of their loot, get their guns before they can even think about getting their guns. So Loba will come into heavy play here, and her teleport is pretty good now that she can move as soon as her bracelet lands instead of getting stunned. So that's very important for her as well. VLF, they are in a race trying to win this loot race here. They know that there's another team existing here. They want to be able to get as looted as possible before getting into this fight. Now, it looks like the circle is actually in their favor, so they can stay here. But with all the noise they're going to make, they don't want to. And it looks like FA is actually ready to push, waiting for their team members to get ready and push together. FA wants this fight. They want the KP. They want to get back on the board, and they are looking. This is what I mean, but I love South American servers. Like, they are so aggressive, and it looks like Mad just taking these wingman shots. FA just baiting their time, waiting with the nade throw overhead, pushing in, making sure that they are all moving together. Ooh, and they do get the massive damage, and VLF has to fully heal up again. But they do have the high ground for now. They're able to hold and withstand this pressure, but they are having to reposition because they don't have any bunker legends. They aren't going to be able to fully keep themselves up here for too long. There's not a lot of cover. They are waiting for the other team to push them. FA is currently underneath, figuring out the best way to push here. VLF is just waiting, and I don't know how many resources they have to spare. They are just trying to hold their ground. Oh, and it looks like X may have dropped down early. It looks like VLF is trying to actually push them off the high ground, but FA is pushing in one at a time. This might prove detrimental to them. Tash making sure to go back because he doesn't want to overextend without his team, and they are getting rid of the doors. X making sure that he can get rid of the doors here, trying to make an opening for his team to move in here. Tash are taking a little bit too much damage. No shield, but so that Gibraltar on FA also does not have shields here. But they're trying to go for the quick shield swap. Unfortunate. I don't think they're going to be able to get it. They do have white shield, but that may not be enough. VLF actively bullying, but they are running out of resources. They need to make this final push. Someone needs to engage or heavily disengage immediately, because FA is also not looking too good here on their resources. They're having to share and split shield cells. They are getting enough damage to be able to upgrade shields, but that's not going to mean a lot when they can't overshield. Looks like we have reached a stalemate here. Mad does have his ultimate, so he can quickly disengage for his team here, but I don't think they're going to do that. If we've learned anything from watching 4 games, they're not going to disengage. They're not going to give this up because they want the KP. They want a victor and loser of this fight here. So Tasho, we do see Tasho trying to get his team to understand where everyone is located right now. And VLF is looking pretty good. Again, they have their Lobas, so they are able to restock on ammo at least. Even if they can't restock on heals, they have enough ammo to fight this. So VLF actively trying to get some damage here, trying to see where FA is going to come on ammo at least. Even if they can't restock on heals, they have enough ammo to fight this. So VLF actively trying to get some damage here, trying to see where FA is going to come out of. But they're not quite able to extend anything. They're not able to make any plays here. VLF just getting every angle possible. Tasho is down. This might be the push. Oh, but they're able to exchange the down as well. And it's down to Prince and X. Oh, and they're actually in a 2v1, and they do win out on that fight. Even though they were the first to lose out on a team member, they were able to turn that around so quickly by focus firing, and VLF did win that fight, so they were the victors. But they're going to have to quickly heal back up because the blue is coming in. They heard the commotion. They were fighting for way too long, and that is what happens on Storm Point. You are able to rotate very quickly depending on how you hear the shots, which honestly on Storm Point it feels like you can hear the shots pretty quickly. But a blue actually switching out, it seems. They want to move out of this location. They don't want to be here. They're actually going towards Fish Farm and Gale Station, where there are two teams currently existing. This is going to be an interesting location here because they are going to be going into a location where two squads are living in the two different buildings. So they're not going to have a lot of place to land, but they may be able to third party this team that is currently in between. Oh, and it looks like Vang goes down. Unfortunate, but Only Flans is using this as an opportunity to push in. And a blue, yes, they have positioned themselves. Ooh, they're trying to steal that, but that unfortunately was not their KP. They killed someone who was downed, and it looks like they are moving in here, trying to see where they can get an opening. But they know that there are two teams now. There are two teams that are actively fighting. They want to bide their time. They're just getting some extra damage, trying to help out with their other team there so that they can better third party. But it looks like they're just playing the outskirts. They are going to have to go back because they don't have a lot of cover. Only Flans also having to push back to heal. Truman, their Gibraltar, also has to back off to fully heal. And it looks like he only has cells at the moment. Oh, and AVC struggling right now on the struggle bus. Zero is the only one alive, trying to get his teammates banners, but he is not doing too well right now. And Only Flans is actively searching for him currently, making sure that they can catch him out and get that last KP. Ooh, but Annabelle, getting caught out, has to use a Phoenix kit to fully shield up. Oh, and Truman got stuck in the door. It's all right. It happens. We won't look at that. We won't mention it again. Only Flans holding their position quite strong here. They are able to look down at fish farms where players may be rotating out, which if they use the cannon, they can look at. And it's such an open space that if there are other teams rotating out, they can immediately see it. They're looking pretty healthy right now. Fangs has a blue shield, but he has 217 damage left, and it looks like they'll be able to get that real quick. Horus, also in a fight, has someone who is knocked. They domed that so they could secure that kill there. Interesting use of the dome there, but if they're not in too much danger, that's not a bad call. Ooh, and they are chasing down the last two members of this team. Ooh, the crispy wingman shots, just taking down Taz Treffy. Absolutely decimating here. Crowley going in with the massive shot, just absolutely shredding. And that is it for that team, for Gui's team. And they are able to secure 3 KP as well. Horus looking pretty good. Able to get as much damage off and not take too much damage here. Horus looking very good here. And again, we know that if you give a Kraber to Pit, he is just going to crack everyone on the map. Flans is actually choosing to move into fish farms here. I'm assuming they need a little bit more loot. They weren't able to really loot up from just the 2 boxes that they were given, so they're going to be looting up. They also know that there might be someone in this area, so they're actually looking out. And that's a blue that is on the outlook here as well, making sure that they're keeping an eye out for that team that they did see rotate out. I wonder how our first place team Dupla is doing. If our producers are listening, I would love to look at Dupla and see what they are up to currently after winning, or being on first place. And looks like Semorg is actually, ooh, they are actually living in a choke point here, holding out a squad for being able to rotate in. But they're actually also keeping themselves from rotating in as well. Also, Horus trying to get the scan here so they know where to go. This is incredibly important, especially on Storm Point. Again, I cannot reiterate how important it is to know where you need to rotate and how you need to rotate. You need to rotate so quickly, because even if you're the first to move, you could almost honestly be the last person to move, because everyone has a scan legend on Storm Point. You want to know where to go. All right, and Horus moving in. They are actively trying to get into circle, and it looks like a lot of teams are actually outside of the circle, and there are going to be a lot of fights there. That choke point is a cluster that they want to avoid. Now, Pepe, a team that we have not seen really show up today. They are actually using a Revenant ultimate here on Stormpoint. I haven't seen that yet, but hopefully it works out for them. But they do get sent back to the totem. They are not in a good position. They are on the lower ground. They are actively having to re-heal. And it's ULW coming in, knowing that there's a fight, but they're also getting held out. They need to be careful. There are lots of teams here. This is the choke point that I was talking about. Too many teams have existed here for too long. Too many fights have lasted here for too long as well. And they are going to choose for the Valkyrie ultimate to rotate out of this position because, again, as they see the scans, there are way too many people living in this one zone together. They are going to clear this mountain and get into the next zone. They need to... Yeah, they need to detach and make sure that they're not grouping up to give them easy targets. But again, because this is Stormpoint, so many people have already landed in their zones and they are gatekeeping this next circle closure. Only Flans also still existing over near Fish Farm, but now they're finding themselves in a precarious situation. Oh, BRZ just absolutely nailing this other team, but it is a 1v1 here, and out in the open may not be enough. Oh, it's actually a 1v2. Just Better needs to actually pull back and show that he is better by surviving. Vamotime coming in. This is a third party. This is not going to go well for them. Vamotime looks absolutely healthy, knows that there is one remaining team member left that is ratting out somewhere close. They're going to be hunting them down. Look at that control with the flatline there. And Yuri moving in, being incredibly aggressive. There are so many death boxes here, so many people caught in this choke point. A Blue also in this location trying to fight for their lives inside. Stressado cannot go down here. Gibraltar is the most important player in this close range fight here, and he does get his shield off, but he needs to fully heal, and that is exactly what he's going to do. A Blue looking pretty good, surviving within the building themselves, but they are actively aware of this team below them, and they are going to try to push, but the enemy Wraith player does end up getting their their portal, but they're stuck between a team and a team, so they need to pick their fights carefully. They are going to come back, and a Blue is going to look pretty healthy here. Restock, reset. Sem-Org is the other team in this location. It is a mess, and it is 13 squads left in round 2 closing. There are so many fights happening all over the map, all over these choke points, because, again, Stormpoint is a huge map until you run into everyone in the entire lobby. Sem-Org holding down their fort here. They do have a shield swap that they can use to their advantage, but they do need to fully heal. Sky is, I think he just got the shield swap there, so they are actively just doing a poking battle, but you can see Nice is actually running out of shots on his rampage. He needs to be careful. They are running out of resources. They're also spending a lot of time fighting here. Again, we know what happens when they there's a lot of fighting that happens on this map in any point, in any close range fight. Also, I just got word from producers that Dupla is actually eliminated, and it's 13 squads left. So Dupla was one of the first few squads to get taken out. Unfortunate for them, so they won't be able to score any points now in this game, so they have to hope. They have to hope that SST will not go up against them in points here. I'm actually trying to see if SST is alive, because then we can get a live feed on how well they're doing and how they are going to hold up, and maybe see how their points are going to hold up. Because again, in 13th place, you don't get any placement points. It's going to be all KP. So if SST is alive and they are getting kills, they may already be surpassing Dupla. Ooh, Only Flan's doing some work with the R9, my personal favorite gun. Oh, just an absolute laser, able to get that KP. They are kill leader, but can they survive? Can Truman get away? Can Truman rat out for his team here? I don't think so, and he's going to get eliminated at 11th place. Unfortunate for them. They did get the KP, so they will get some points on the board, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Alright, an AK-47 is still existing in this location. They have been holding this spot down for themselves. They're doing just fine. They're going to be able to get all the loot, and they're going to be able to hold their ground here. Oh, and they were actually the ones to push out against Truman's team. Okay, my producers were incorrect. Dupla is still alive, so they are able to get points on the board. I'm so sorry about that mix-up. But yeah, so Dupla is still on the board. They are going to be holding first place strong for now. Now, I don't know if SST is still alive, but we are going to be able to see if they are contesting, because that is the one team that Dupla is going to be actively looking for. Dupla, shot taking a little bit too much damage here, has to play outside of his bubble, does not have time to heal. Now he does. Now he can open up that space. They're going to be able to get that full shield off. Dupla, oh my goodness, Keepstar just absolutely aggressively decimating. Oh my goodness, every weapon in his hand is a laser. That was the devotion that he was shredding with. Has the turbocharger, but had such perfect recoil. Oh my god, the recoil control there from Keepstar was incredible. Puddin just coming in, you know, red shield, absolutely ready. All right, and it looks like they're going to be able to reset. Duplo looking pretty good, trying to move into this building, but they know that there are other teams actively inside and fighting, so they're going to be very careful about how they take this building. All right, and it's actually Vamo time that is up on top. Oh, and there is a team that is on top of the ship, hiding behind a car, using every bit of cover that they can. And it looks like 1HN does have the Kraber. All he needs is one pick, and he's going to be able to get this solo player up there. It looks like it is actually just one player up top behind the car, fighting for his life. And, you know, HN is not going to give him the chance to survive, especially with that Kraber. Ooh, and Pepe staying alive behind. They do need to push through this. Everyone is going to be looking at this choke point. They are, ooh, but Lord does take some damage from this Gibraltar ultimate. And this is the team that was surviving off of the Revenant ultimate. They're going to be Revi ulting again, pushing into this team. Oh, but it's not enough. Better gets pushed back. Ken gets pushed back as well. They need to reset. They need to heal up, and that Rev ultimate did not give them too much space to actively push off of that damage. So they need to reset. They need to watch all of their angles. They're being very careful, making sure that they are covered because they do need to move into the location. They have already pinged that they want to go to the south, and they are actively taking this fight now. Ooh, Ken absolutely shredding with the car there, and nice with the Mastiff. Able to pull back. It's actually Semorg that they're fighting up against. Pepe versus Semorg. Oh, takes the Wraith ult back, but it's all right. They do need to actually play for circle now because it is closing. So Semorg is actually taking this fight here, shredding with the R301. And my feed actually froze, so I am going to be looking to see if we can fix that. Okay, there we go. And Vamo time is up. Oh my goodness, Vamo time is up and absolutely decimates Puddin. Unfortunate for him. That was part of Duplo's team. Puddin goes down, just shot in the face with a Kraber. They are trying to get that res there, though. They might be able to get that with the Gibraltar shield. They are unable to do any extra damage to secure that KP there. So they are actually watching, trying to see if they can get the redown because they know that they are going to have to move and rotate. Puddin, please be careful. Puddin, please use your cover carefully. Ooh, Duplo looking like they're struggling a little bit to find the proper cover. H1 flubbing on these shots here, but it's good for Duplo if you are a Duplo fan now. They're doing just fine moving into circle. They do need to pull back even further because circle is pulling behind them. So Vamo time, having to reshield, having to just reset, take a little breather, and move in. So this is going to be one of those zones where there's not a lot of cover going into the final zone. And it looks like H1 actually had to switch back to his Peacekeeper because he did run out of Kraber shots. AK-47 also holding out Duplo. Ooh, and Brutus moving in. He wants that revenge. He remembers what happened last time. He wants that revenge. All right, now AK-47 is just holding out here with the R301 combo. All right, now we are going to be seeing a lot of fights happening here because AK-47 holds the circle edge, but if AK is not careful, they could end up finding themselves getting hit by two different squads because there are two squads here that we know of that are actively trying to push into rotation. So while AK-47 is in the proper position to gatekeep, they are not going to be able to do that if two teams focus fire them, but it looks like the other team is going to actively choose to go in using the Valkyrie ultimate. Very risky play. Very risky play. And they may actually be getting punished for it now. They did get the down, but they are actively watching for Duplo that is behind them. 3 squads left. This is it. This is top 3. They know that they need to choose a team. Right now, they are split. Their focus is split. And Kurev is trying to rescue his team here, trying to rescue Brutus from playing out too much. They need to be able to pick a location and pick a team to fight, but either way, they are going to be splitting attention. So, AK-47 struggling a little bit here to find out which team they want to focus fire. And now they are sitting outside of the zone, taking a little bit too much damage. I think they're opting to fight Duplo here on the high ground, and that is a good call because they want to stay on the high ground here. All right, AK-47 trying to find the best time that they can, and Vamo time is just... They're just vibing on the bottom. They're just watching these teams fight. They do have the G7 Scout, which absolutely shreds if you do hit both of your shots. Or you can turn it to single fire. Ooh! Unable to get some damage there, though. True, unable to secure any damage there. Oh, trying on the single fire, trying to secure some damage. Vamo time moving in, trying to third party. The 3 teams are still all very much alive. And it looks like Khonshu does down Keepstar here. Oh, and True decimating with the R301, drops the Gibraltar Dome, trying to take it out. Brutus does go down. Khonshu is also down. And Vamo time is the champion after that rotation that they should have been punished on. I am incredibly shocked. Vamo should not have won that. By all means, they should have been punished for that Valkyrie rotation so late game. They should have been punished for taking lower ground, but because AK-47 could not make a decision on which team they wanted to push to focus fire, and they took that game, they took that last fight a little bit too late. We saw them take the win. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. I want to know where the score standings are though, because we did see Duplo surviving pretty late game. I don't think we saw SST survive late game either. So SST may be behind on points depending on their KP. So we're going to take a look at the leaderboard, see where everyone is at. So Dupla, like I said, 200 game. Dupla is now at 223 points. AK-47 is at 220 after their second place win, or second place game last game. And SST still at 185 points. So they were eliminated pretty early on, or were not able to get any scorings. And they're sitting at third place. AVC is 101. Brotherhood actually moved up in points, but they're sitting at 5th place still. So that is 100 points. They're only off of 4th place by 1 point. And I believe in them. I believe they can do this. So if you look at the points here, if you look at first place versus first place, that is a significant leap. That is a 123 point lead. So with Dupla in lead like this, AK-47 and SST really have to up their game this last match in order to take that. AK-47 could easily kick Dupla down to second place. But Dupla is holding strong. They have been able to stay consistent the last 2 games. So with that sort of analysis, I want to say that Dupla is going to be able to stay at first place, but AK-47 also played incredibly smart this rotation, or with this game with their rotations. They were able to stay securing KP. They were able to rotate out very quickly, and they were able to stay within zones. The only thing that I can point out is that if they were able to choose to punish a team, if they were to choose to punish a team, they could have done that and they would have been able to win the next game, but they were unable to. They were stuck within limbo for a little bit too long, and in competitive Apex, every second counts within decision making. Dupla, 223. AK-47, only 3 points off. It's all down to this game. This is day 1 of qualifiers, by the way. Tomorrow we'll be back the same time, 10 a.m. PST, which in your respective time zones are going to be very different. I believe that's 2 p.m. BRT. So with that, we are going to be going into game number 5 very soon. But Dupla holding down first place. We thought they were eliminated early on, but they were not. They were actually holding strong, top 3, and still securing KP. They are probably one of the strongest teams that I have seen come out here. And I'm incredibly impressed at their survival rate. They were a little bit slow on the rotations in the last game, but honestly, that was because they were taking a lot of fights. So it's okay. They were also securing KP. In some cases, it's okay to sacrifice placement for KP. So again, AK-47, I want to see a little bit faster of decision making, especially in the last circle situation where it's top 3 and you see a team rotate and get stunned for a little bit. Because once you take the Valkyrie ult, there is a slight time period, maybe about 1 or 2 seconds, where the team cannot pull out their weapons and are completely vulnerable. We did see them try to fire at them and did punish them for a little bit, but not long enough. So we're going to go into game 5 pretty quickly after this, but we're going to take a quick break and we will see you for game 5.
Every weekend is the same. I'm the one you try to claim. Yeah, I already know about your game, but I'm not the one to sit around and be played. Call me up with no shame. All your words sound the same. Yeah, I already know about your game, but I'm not the one to sit around and be played. If you come around just to play me, don't bother, cause you ain't overdue. Don't even try to convince me. Don't bother, cause now I see you through. Your stupid games. Come around. If you come around just to play me, don't bother, cause you ain't overdue. Don't even try to convince me. Don't bother, cause now I see you through. Every time we say goodbye, they all see that it's a lie. Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Happier tonight. Happier tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye,
All right, welcome back. Game number 5. Game number 5. Last game. So it seems that the top 5 are pretty solidly taken right now, but honestly, with 4th and 5th place, that could be up in the air. Because the real point lead is from 1st to 4th place, if you remember correctly from the leaderboard. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the placement scoring and all the different rules that you need for this tournament and all the formats, just in case we need a refresher. Also, really quickly, I want to shout out Lenovo Legion for hosting this tournament and for shedding a light on the South America region, which I really want more of a light shed on that Apex region because they play incredible. They play out of their minds. So this tournament is brought to you by Lenovo Legion, which offers gaming PCs, monitors, and accessories that are stylish on the outside and savage on the inside. With that being said, let's talk about how savage things have been on Stormpoint. So this last game is going to be on Stormpoint as well. And again, it's 5 points per elimination. So KP, everything like that, times 5. So you want to be placing 10th place or above in order to get placement points, but honestly, one extra placement point is not going to be doing that much for you. You want to be lasting at least until 5th place, where you get 10 points, 4th, where you get 15, 3rd, where you get 20, 2nd, 30, and 1st, where you get a whopping 50 points. So if you've been playing like Duplo or Dupla, you definitely want to be getting 1st place because that is an additional 50 on top of all the KP that you've been getting. Dupla has been playing out of their minds, but also SST has been doing pretty well. I think those are 2 teams that have been up in contention. But if we take a look at the overall leaderboard, we are going to be seeing how many of these teams are actually fighting for the top 3 spaces. So we are going into game number 5, the last game. We're going to be seeing what teams are going to solidify their qualifications and the finals for next weekend. Now, tomorrow we do have qualifiers number 2 at the same time. We'll be playing 5 games as well. And it looks like you already see a fight between VLF. Now, VLF is heavily disengaging here. They are trying to get out of this location. They do not want to be fighting here for too long. Again, remember what happened in this zone. There were so many fights happening, and they got 3rd, 4th, 5th party, and you do not want to be a part of that. FA, looking to see where VLF went, trying to catch out these stragglers. Oh, and it looks like they do have that Loba, the player that they want to catch, but FA's going to pull back because they aren't going to chase that. Now, FA is looking pretty good on loot. They have this whole zone to themselves now, minus what VLF has taken, but they are doing pretty well. They were able to get some damage on their shields. It's not much, but it's something. And Silvera is actually opting for the R301 and charge rifle combination.
Let's see what we have over here.
All right, and VLF has been able to fully disengage, but they are staying pretty close around. I think they want to go back in. They are rotating an entirely different flank, so they are going to be able to flank that other team if they want to. But I mean, Tasha doesn't even have a weapon. I don't think they should do this. If anything, I think they should have been looting in fish farms, but there may have been a team there already, so they may be trying to do a wide rotation around. Now, the first circle has been marked, so a lot of teams are going to be already rotating around because they don't want to be caught out. We saw what happens when you get caught out on Stormpoint. FA, taking their time. They do have the turbocharger with the Havoc, so they're doing just fine here. FA also rotating out immediately because they are right on the edge of circle and they want to be able to hold out teams here, but also secure this position because it gives you high ground and it gives you full range of view above and below you, which is incredible. So they're going to set up here. They don't have any bunker legends, but that's not necessary on Stormpoint, honestly. And we do see that a lot of teams are still pretty spaced out. Looks like Brotherhood has found the next circle, so they are kind of moving towards that. But they are going to be going towards Sky's team here. So because this map is so big, we're going to see so many circles kind of sitting in the middle until the second circle pulls in. So when the second circle pulls in, we do see that it goes towards the west. So towards the west, that is going to be where our final circle will be resting. And it looks like Brotherhood is going to be taking this fight against Sky's team. Brotherhood has the... Ooh, Sab has the 30-30. Not my preferred gun for long range, but, you know, to each their own. Looks like they are moving in. They do see that team. They are actively scouting. Now, Sab is the team scout here, making sure that he can do callouts for his team, get some extra loot for himself. Panic does need a little bit more of shields, better shields, or at least some damage on it. So if Sab could switch with him, that would be perfect. ULW also fighting for a spot in the circle, trying to move in, but being kept out here. They're trying to get some extra shots off, but they don't have any sights on their peacekeepers, or on their wingman. So Flavin is going to move in. They have a zip. Taking their time, trying to hit these shots, trying to pull down some fires so that they can move in, trying to make some space. Flavin taking a little bit too much damage, though. All of his shields are gone, and he only has white shields. And now the enemy team has that knowledge that 2 of ULW only has white shields, and they may make the push. In South America regions, you do not want to tell the enemy teams that you have white shields because you will get pushed on. And MRG needs to re-shield because this push could come very quickly. Looks like ULW is actually being uncontested here. They're going to be okay for this rotation, but whether or not they're going to be okay making the actual rotation in is yet to be seen. And it looks like a lot of teams are already rotating into the second circle. So you see a lot of these teams. This is what I mean by Storm Point switching over. You see teams adapting. And I want to say that South America has the best player adaptation that I've seen. They are very good at figuring out how other people are going to play. They're very good at being able to adapt to their playstyles and switch up how exactly they push in, when they choose to rotate, and where they choose to rotate. So we are seeing a clear example of a lot of teams learning from their past mistakes. Samorg also choosing to be back up on Godspot here. They can exist in this position, but it depends on how much loot they have. It looks like they're actually doing all right. Sam is looking at the other teams that are currently moving in or have to exist in this area. So they are actively taking a look, and they're doing just fine sitting on top, but they are going to make themselves active targets if they get caught up there. With the amount of players who are sitting on snipers and charge rifles, I would not put it past them to get shot off that spot. Yeah, and look, AVC is already noting that Sem is on top. They know what happened last time. They're trying to get them off the top so that they don't have that prime positioning.
Let's go here.
Looks like Semorg is doing a little bit of team organization with loot there, and that's just fine. They're just biding their time. They know, ooh, they're keeping an eye on that Valkyrie rotation, trying to lay down some bullets, trying to stop them from getting that rotation in, securing that zone. ULW still on white shields, taking this fight. Not looking too good. And Faria is going to try to port them out. ULW fighting for their lives here. And they are going to get overlooked by another team, having to take this Gibraltar bubble fight. But I don't know if they're going to take enough damage. They do get that escape. They were able to get it down, but that is not going to be enough for them to push off of, especially when they are struggling with health here. And ULW, MRG choosing to move in without healing. Ooh, Faria goes down. Unfortunate. Now it is a 2v2. Unless they were able to get that res, then it is going to be a 2v3. And MRG choosing to shield now, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. And Flavim already used his bubble, so he's not going to have that quick res, and he's taking all of this damage. There it goes. Now he has the bubble res. It is going to be a 3v3 potentially, but MRG also getting shot and absolutely shredded. Flavim does go down. There is no more Gibraltar bubble. MRG and Flavia have to choose if they're going to take this fight or back off, and only Flans actually makes a full recovery here. So they're also getting third party. This is a lot of teams in one location. And AK-47 is also here, also looking out. So these are 4 teams in one area, and they are actively looking at trying to escape or take down a team. But this is a messy area to fight in. There are so many angles. And now there is another team that is actively tracking them. Only Flans does get away, though, getting full heals, getting the full reset. They're going to be okay. They do have the Valkyrie ultimate as well, so they can fully reset and get out of this location, which honestly they may choose to do because it is getting very messy very quickly. Only Flans choosing to go into the Prowler Pit, and also FA is running through there, so they may actually get caught out here. Looks like they are trying to actively get away. They did make the reset. But their Gibraltar player is doing a little bit worse on shields, which is not the best thing ever. Only Flan's still trying to get back into this rotation and into this fight, but they're not going to be able to land any shots here. Annabelle not able to get the R301 shots that he needs in order to get this push. Making sure that no one is behind them. Only Flan's still using the charge rifle to get some extra damage off. Truman only needs 2 more damage on his blue shield in order to get purple, and he just can't find that connect. They are trying to guard out, but they are actually still outside of the circle. But they do have 2 minutes until the circle closes, so they have time to mess around on the outside of the circle, stay around a little bit. But again, it is pulling towards the west, so they do have some trekking to do, especially through the Prowler nest, which can prove to be a little bit disheartening if you get damaged by the Prowlers that continuously spawn in this one particular area. We did see several teams pushing through here as well, so we do see a lot of teams on the outside of the circles moving in. Only Flans choosing to move in. Truman did get his purple. So now they're sitting on full purple shields. They're looking healthy. They may need a little bit more of ammo soon. Annabelle is sitting on about 100 light ammo. Needs to re-up on that. But it looks like they're going to get this rotation just free, making sure no one is around. Being very smart. Now we do have 15 squads left. SST is still alive. Remember, SST was one of the heavy hitters from the last few matches. But we did not see them show up the last match. And they are actively shooting down on, or shooting up at Sem.org up there, who are still living in that area. I mean, I guess they can stay there, but they know that all the teams know that they like that area. So they're going to be looking there. Because again, South America, they know how to learn from their mistakes. All right, it looks like Sem.org has the long-range choice of R301. But that's not going to do too much damage starting from here. And all these teams are spaced out just far enough that the R301 won't do too much damage. All right, now Dupla, our #1 team for today, they are actively fighting. I think they're going to be able to kill. They're making this a 2v3. Ooh, Keepstar getting aggressive here with the alternator. Ooh, just absolutely shredding that Wraith player, having to go back inside to shield. But Shot does come in to finish up that down. Puddin coming in, having to shield up a little bit, but also actively taking this bubble fight, and they do win the team fight. But they are getting third-partied here. They need to be careful. It's Brotherhood coming in, that team that I was telling you about. I was warning you. Ender just putting down the absolute beam of an R301 fire, going in aggressively. This is not going to be enough time for Dupla to make a recovery. Dupla, are we going to see them get taken out early? Ender does get the shield swap, and Brotherhood is going to come in. Takes out Shot, takes out the Gibraltar player, the most important, but they were able to get out with the Wraith. So we do see 2 players left on Dupla, and they may end up getting chased here. Now BRZ, another team that we see from returning champs, they are coming in and trying to take this fight. They don't have any... They do not have any KP currently. And also in the kill feed, I want to point out that Brotherhood did end up killing Killstar, or Keepstar, another player from Dupla. So currently, there's only 1 player. Oh, and Puddin did go down to Dupla. All of Dupla is gone. And Just Better gets downed. BRZ struggling a little bit. Rhynex also down. No click. Having to survive, but as a Gibraltar player, it's a little bit hard to survive solo. And I don't know if that's going to be enough. ULW also seeking to try and take some KP. Don't know if they were able to secure it. They were not. They just gave the KP to the other team, but they did make their location known, which is quite unfortunate. And they know this, so they are going to rotate in. Very smart move, because they were caught out. That was the wrong move to do there, but they are rotating out. They're going to be able to get this position. They are going to try to go for this high ground. Hopefully, Sem.org was able to get off the top, and now they're able to take this top location here. All right, and ULW was able to get out of there just fine, but they do need to re-up on health and find a way to rotate in. This is a very open area, and Sem.org may actually still be on the top of the other rocks, so they may end up getting shot at here. It's a very open location. They do have a Wraith, but the portal is also pretty... Yep, they are getting shot at by Sem.org. Sem.org just has their radar on for everyone today. Unfortunate for Dupla getting taken out. Hopefully their lead was enough. Now, remember, it was AK that was in 2nd place, and that was only off by 3 points, I believe. 2 or 3 points. So they may be able to make that up and steal 1st place from Dupla. All right, we see ULW just biding their time, making sure that they can guard their backs against late rotating teams. And they're doing just that with MRG, being able to put down some cover fire with the Rampage. Ooh, AK-47, here's the team that we were just talking about. 2nd place, actively in a fight for their lives with 2 other teams actively firing on them. AK-47 disengaging. Are they going to be able to get away with this? They do need to full re-heal. And Khonshu is getting actively hit. He needs to Phoenix kit, and that is going to take a second too long, and they're getting naded from everywhere. Khonshu, is he going to be able to take this? He does get the Phoenix kit off. They're looking okay. AK-47 has been able to reset. They can take this fight again now. Ooh, Khonshu with the 97 beam from the charge rifle is going to be able to back up fully and disengage. 13 squads left. Remember, you do not get any points for 13th place. They do have KP though. Tharsis is trying to rotate in. They are a little bit further behind in terms of rotations. They are going to be rotating in late. So either they're going to end up being cannon fodder and KP for a team, or they're going to be able to get this, get some KP for themselves and put themselves on the board. 13 squads left. It looks like they are going to be setting themselves up as open target as they fly across where Semorg has their eyes, and they are just going to be fighting for their lives here, making sure that they can get that Gibraltar Dome and get extra heals off if they need to upon landing. They know that there is a team just looking at them above. Semorg has just been bullying from here, but again, like I said, they need to watch their resources. Look at Nice. Nice's R301 stash. He only has 124 extra bullets. He is not going to survive very long here if he keeps shooting. But they're going to keep doing it because this is an aggressive region. They want to get these teams. They want to punish these teams that got the late rotate in. Looks like Semorg is actually pretty separated currently. They are actively looking for extra KP anywhere they can, but that separation may actually end up in their demise if they are not careful. This separation is fine, but as long as they can get back together very quickly, that's okay. But because they are on such a high point, that is probably not going to happen. SST is actually surviving underneath where one of the Semorg members is currently standing watch. So this Mirana may actually get punished for staying out by himself. Ooh, and VLF actually ended up usurping Semorg from their spot. VLF is now on top of God's spot, but they are getting ulted off. Ooh, Prinz does get downed. Unfortunate for him. That is their Gibraltar player. They are going to have to get him up and fully reset. But SST is pushing up, knowing that they were able to get that down. They're trying to push up and secure it. Oh, and takes down Trisato. Absolutely a menace, just pushing in like no tomorrow. Sunflower actively looking for other people. Semorg trying to take back their spot. But are they going to be able to do it? The PK shots are not doing it. It's down to Sky. Sky trying to take out VLF, and it's a 1v1. Can Sky do this? Take out Z. I don't know if he's going to push this, but Sky is trying to at least secure the KP before he reses his team, trying to be the smartest player for his team members here. And that is the best thing that he could have done. He is going to try to push. He is fully healed. He could secure this extra final KP from this team, but oh, and he is actively choosing to. He was able to cancel their res, and he needs to secure this last wingman shot, and he dies. Great teamwork from there. Nice. Being able to shoot down at X there. Incredible team play. And now they were able to secure 3 KP and 10th place, where you get 1 extra point for placement. Now, Tharsis was able to move in. They were able to fully reset. They're sitting on 2 KP. They're looking okay. 10 squads left, so that's 3 points so far for them. And I shouldn't have said anything because Taco got immediately beamed by someone across the way. I feel like Caster's Curse might be hitting me now, but it's all right because round 4 is closing and there's 10 squads left, and we know that there's a team. Semorg still took their spot back at God's spot. Ooh, they are getting scanned now though. Tharsis just trying to find a place to exist here, but they're going to be struggling for a little bit. All of this is so open. They were very late to the party. Vamo time. Down to a 2v3 here. Vamo just trying to live. Oh, and they did win the fight. They're securing the KP. They're able to get the res, and they're going to be able to fully reset here. They have all of this loot. SST still surviving, but Sunflower does get taken down. And we are watching them fight for their lives here. Spectre also gets taken out. And it's down to Trinity. Trinity, can you do this? Are you going to ult out? Tries to... spends too much time trying to Q and does get taken out. It's a Blue coming in, trying to survive and get that third party on this team. What is going on? Trying to chase down this last member. Unable to connect shots, but does get it and kills Panic. Oh, and does get the extra KP there too. Blue coming in as the third party. And now they might be getting third-partied as well. They are down to 2 people in their squad. 7 squads left, and Circle 5 is going to be closing in a minute. A Blue trying to survive, trying to find a place that they can rotate into and live. They are trying to restock on everything they need, but also get into zone because they're getting bullied from the top of these rocks. Dogs does not have enough light ammo for another fight. He might have enough for one more fight, but they need to win that fight if they want to exist and last into top 3. All right, we see a Blue trying to survive. Oh, and we see a Bangalore. Hello? Am I seeing a Bangalore in 2022 in competitive Apex? Okay, you know what? I'm living for it. I love it. Now we see Dogs trying to restock. There is no more light ammo, so he's going to have to survive on that or switch off weapons. Only Flans is looking good and healthy. They have 1 KP, at least off Annabelle, and they are actively looking down at other squads. Truman still has the charge rifle, being an absolute menace to the lobby. Charge rifle and R99 combo. Now, this may be the god spot. I don't know where Semorg is. They may have died if OnlyFlans took their spot. So, OnlyFlans holding strong, knowing that there are other teams actively trying to climb up and just decimate them. Takes down Task Treffy here, and they are going to be able to get that finish on Treffy and take an extra KP. They are actively looking down. They are in the best spot right now for this endgame lobby. 6 squads left, and they are looking down at all of them here. OnlyFlans does have the range. They have the range. They have everything they need. They have their ultimates ready. They're just waiting for everyone to be grouped up. This is actual god spot here, and Truman just bullying with the charge rifle, but they do get ulted on. They're going to be able to fully heal, though. That's not enough damage to take them out. 5 squads left, and round 5 is closing, and it's going to be final circle soon. Now they are pulling on all their nades, and this is final circle. 5 squads with barely little cover from OnlyFlans, who are being an absolute menace here. They're not going to be able to get enough damage here from lower teams. OnlyFlans can exist here in perfect peace. No one can contest them from here right now. And we do see Truman running low on ammo here. And the charge rifle takes quite a bit of ammo. Oh, and Yuri also. Vamo time struggling with the ammo situation as well. They are able to loot up, but they might get punished for that. And there goes Truman's ultimate that I was talking about. It's going to be pulling that team out. They are dropping down, finding the rat, making sure to secure that KP. It's down to 3 squads. That was the last member of Brotherhood. They are pushing in 3 squads left. That ultimate was huge. It was able to connect so much damage for that team, and now they're going to make that push, but they're getting answered by a Bangalore. A Bangalore ultimate, and that is the 2-squad team. But they don't know that. They don't know that it's 2 people, so they are actively staying backwards because they don't know that it's not a full team. But they did get the scan. They know that it's only 2, so they are making the push. OnlyFlans trying to take them out. Annabelle pushing up before, and Yuri's team is slowly creeping up, but Truman is keeping an eye on them. He's trying to keep them at bay. He is staying healthy, taking as least of damage as he can, and OnlyFlans doing okay, going back and forth, juggling these 2 teams. This is how you play 2 different teams together. Actively communicate and make sure that you're pushing them towards each other. And, oh, they are absolutely able to decimate. It's 2 squads left. It's the final 2. Is OnlyFlans going to be able to pull out this win and get their first win of the day? Oh, Truman does go down. Annabelle, it's up to you. And OnlyFangs, are they able to connect these Mastiff shots? And they do. Oh my goodness, one more shot, and Vamo Time is the champion of game number 5 for the South American Legion Masters champs. For Qualifier 1, I'm sorry, not champs yet. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy for them. They played that so well. They did everything correctly that they were supposed to do in that moment. Incredible plays by all teams there. That was also one of the best positionings that I've seen. If they were not able to get Semorg off from the top, Semorg would have absolutely rolled that lobby. Semorg did a great job of holding their position for so long, but because they stayed there for too long, they also ran out of resources and they lost out on a team member. Now, let's take a look at the final scoreboard. Let's see where everyone stands, because we did see Dupla get taken out early, and Dupla is at 2nd place. AK-47 takes 1st place by about 15 extra points. AK-47 sitting in 1st place with 248 points. And in 2nd place, we have Dupla at 233. third, Vamo time at 194, SST with 191 points, and Only Flans with 161, kicking Brotherhood down to 6th place with 140. An incredible show from everyone here. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that Duplo was unable to secure first place after we saw them stay so consistent. They were doing really well. They still played really well in the 5th game. They were still doing incredibly well working together as a team, but I think they just got caught out a little bit, unable to recover. AK-47 showed up, did great. I want to say Only Flans really played that very well. They stayed healthy throughout the whole thing. SST, fantastic job. I wish that they had ended up a little bit higher, but we still have tomorrow. And I love how aggressive all these teams were. I want to say all the teams did such a fantastic job today. Thank you so much for putting on such a great show. Thank you so much to my producers who did a great job juggling all of the teams that we had, because there was so much action that was happening everywhere all the time. I just want to remind you that this tournament is brought to you by Lenovo Legion, which offers gaming PCs, monitors, and accessories that are stylish on the outside and savage on the inside. And again, savage is exactly what we saw with South America. And if you guys want to see the scoreboard once again, just in case you didn't get a good look at it, we're going to go back to the scoreboard real quick because I think a few things may have been adjusted. So we're going to go back to the scoreboard, see, and AK-47 is still top with 248 points, Duplo with 233, Famo 194, SST 191, Only Flans at 161. So we do see the top 5 squads here that did place incredibly well today. We do have more qualifiers tomorrow, starting at the same time, another 5 games, but this time it's going to be 3 games on World's Edge and 2 on Stormpoint. So with Duplo showing up towards Stormpoint, that switch, we're going to see if Duplo can pull that out again tomorrow. So here's the format for tomorrow. 3 games on World's Edge, 2 on Stormpoint. Still the same point systems, and the placement points will still be the same as well. First place getting 50, second 30, third 20, fourth 15th, and so on. 5 points per KP. So again, if these squads show the same initiative and same aggression that we saw today, I think they're going to be just fine. And I think it's always going to be a toss-up who's going to be in first place or even second with the amount of time that they spent juggling all of these squads. I mean, Dupla really showed how strong they are and how they're an absolute menace, and the entire lobby was making sure that they were able to take them out. Now here's the schedule just in case you want to check. Please look at your relative time zones. I believe in BRT tomorrow we're going to be starting at 2 p.m. And for PST, it is going to be 10 a.m. For EST, that is 1 p.m. So make sure that you know what times you're starting if you are the team members, and also if you're a spectator and want to watch these squads or new squads play again tomorrow. We are going to be starting at the same time, 5 games, and then finals next weekend, next Sunday, starts a little bit later, so 11 a.m. PT if you're in my time zone. So again, please mark these down in your schedules if you guys liked what you saw today. This is just South America. In about 3 hours, when we take a break and come back, we are going to have the North American region play. And that's going to be their qualifiers day 1, hosted by my friend BYN. He is an incredible host and caster, so please check it out if you guys are interested in seeing more Apex, because honestly, it's the weekend. Who doesn't want more Apex? I'm actually going to log off and play more Apex myself. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to follow Lenovo Legion on socials, Twitter, Instagram, here on Twitch if you are not following already. And we'll see you all in 3 hours for the North America region qualifiers.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel